In the mid-range, he'll drive it and tie it up with 2 seconds remaining.
Welcome to SicEm365 Radio.
How about that old school up and under scoop by Maceo Teague? He is red hot today.
SicEm365 Radio is presented by IdealMRI.com. High-quality MRIs for $497 or less. IdealMRI.com. Your health is important, so is your budget.
Vital clears some space and knocks it down as he sent TJ Shannon flying.
The 3 o'clock hour is sponsored by Waco Custom Marketplace. Meats, sweets, Texas treats, and a cut above the rest. 425 Lake Air Drive, Waco.
Ready, and I'm getting close. I feel good. You saw me walk out here. I can do a lot of things that I obviously couldn't do weeks ago and even days ago that I'm doing today. So it's hard to say that I'll be ready in this time or that time, but I'll be ready when it matters, and I'll be more than healthy.
Now here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
All right, here we go, SicEm365 Radio. And if you see either one of us looking off to the side at any time during the broadcast, Baylor and Kansas State are going at it, and K-State, who Baylor obliterated in 2 games, scoring over 100 points in each time. K-State never led that either game, ever. Well, that's not the case today, because the Wildcats and Bruce Weber are scratching and clawing down 6 to Baylor with just over 12 minutes to go, and Kansas State goes to the free throw line. Craig Smoak joins us via Skype. Armstrong Sims runs the mothership as well. And, guys, I got to tell you, this looks like a team that read a lot of headlines, a team that knows they beat somebody bunch twice, and this is what kind of leads to a March Madness type upset when somebody hangs around and you kind of get in one of those games where you look sloppy and you don't shoot it well. And I'm not saying they're not going to win the game. They're up 5, but K-State will not go away.
Hey, well, I'm not worried yet. I mean, these kind of things happen. In March, and K-State, played a really good game yesterday. They've got some good momentum going, but yeah, I'm not worried just yet.
Yeah, I'm not either. This team has been in some close games from time to time, but they've, taken care of business more often than not. I'm just not going to live or die minute by minute with this team. They're really good. They're going to play a lot of games still to go. Not if they play like they're playing today, of course, but maybe they get this bad game out of their system. And, I'm sure if they can just pull out this game here in the next, 30 minutes, then they'll be able to regroup tonight and rethink a lot of things. But I'm not concerned, but not a good performance for sure.
Well, they've had a couple of different times when they had the game up to 7 or more, and then K-State hangs around. Right now it's a 4-point game. Baylor with the ball and Matthew Meyer. And they're not shooting open shots very well. And what I don't like, what I saw in the first half, is I saw an absolutely pathetic defense inside. Absolutely. Bradford looks like Bill Walton today and dominating the board. I don't know what's going on inside. And so right now, K-State is down 4. Baylor has the ball, and Maceo Teague is starting. He's had a really nice second half. Baylor up by 6. We're not going to do play-by-play because we can't, but we can keep you up with the game. Paul, what's Kansas State doing? I know that their defensive perimeter, on the perimeter, they're really not allowing Baylor's guards to get comfortable.
No, I don't even think it's so much that. I think the biggest thing right now is Baylor's turnovers. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Baylor is passing the ball sloppy today, and that's what's cost them more than anything. If they don't turn the ball over, if they go down the floor and miss shots, and I mean that's a lot better than just turning it over. They've turned it over so much today. I think that's what's really kept Kansas State's momentum in that. In the second half, it's been Pick. He's got 3 threes that's kept him in it. Outside of that, they're just kind of off. I don't think it's anything that's systematic or whatever, but they do have struggled lately. I mean, McCormick had a big game last week for Kansas because they didn't have anybody to answer for him down low. Same thing early on today with Kansas State, but they adjust really well. So, yeah, I just think the turnovers is the biggest thing.
15 turnovers. K-State has turned it over 13 times, so that's good. I'll tell you what also, to me, the offensive rebounds, it's only a 9-5 edge for Kansas State, but it seems like every one of them has led to easy points inside. Craig, your thoughts? Anything else particular but what we've discussed? Yeah, the game's up. They're up 4, 6 points or whatever. Long time left, but anything else in particular that jumped out at you?
No, I think we've mentioned the turnovers, like Paul said, they got like 1 billion turnovers. They're not shooting the ball well. They're not playing good defense. I mean, I think we've outlined like 5 things for the reason why they're in a tight game with K-State right now. So, yeah, a lot of the things they typically do well, they're not doing well today. And they play like this against a West Virginia, they'll get, possibly blown out. They play like this against a Kansas, they'll probably get beat. So, close this game out and put this one behind you. But no, they're not playing great basketball today.
Oklahoma State 72, West Virginia 69 earlier today. And that was a game in which West Virginia led a little bit, not by much. I thought of all the first round game or the four quarterfinal round games, I thought that would be, even though Texas and Texas Tech play, I thought that game would be the one that was if I had to say, okay, which would be the tightest game, then obviously I would have thought Oklahoma State and West Virginia. Cunningham had 17, Avery Anderson had 17, and they win 72-69.
It's a great game, and you got to feel a little bit for West Virginia on that last,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that is, if you're going to get a shot up after the buzzer, I would want it to just be so far off. I'm like, well, I had no chance of making it anyway. But to go right in, like you're going to be there, like, if I had just...
Here's a stat, Craig, that does concern me a little bit. And yes, you're playing teams now that have nothing to lose. They have to win. Kansas State has to win, or their season is over, and it's just a matter of time if they run out of gas. Baylor's largest lead today has been just 7. And it's gotten to 7. It was just 7 a minute ago, and then it gets right back to 2 or 3 or 1. So that's kind of where they have not been able to have that separation. And they just, about 10 minutes ago, looked like they had a little run on them. Kansas State just brought them right back in, so we'll keep up with that quite a bit. Oklahoma State is next. Mike Boynton got a hell of a team. We know that, and that was a nice win for Baylor last Thursday when they beat Oklahoma State. Now we have a schedule today that's kind of fluid. Derek Johnson, he was not scheduled to be a part of our show, but all of a sudden he gave away 200 free meals along with Michael Huff, the former UT All-American defensive back. They gave away 200 free meals on New Road at Bush's Chicken earlier today, and he's going to join us at 3:45 to discuss. Michael Huff's been doing that now for a long, long time, so it was neat to see some others get involved. Also today, we'll have live post-game coverage of Baylor and Kansas State, whatever happens. Jason King's there, Ashley Hodges there. We'll also get a chance possibly to get a coach or player in the postgame, plus whatever inside the media session that's following the game. And then also Mickey Spagnuolo, 4:30, and conversations with Oral Roberts head coach Paul Mills. They're going to Danson. We told you that. And then also today, we'll have Gary Franklin, the former Cal transfer. He's out in L.A., back in his hometown in L.A. He's going to join us today at about 5:20 today. All right? What else going on today? Anything else in particular? Duke, gone, out. Baylor had an opportunity, just turned it over. Duke, they weren't going to make it, but they had to beat Florida State. Then they had to win even another game or two after that. And even then, it might been barely enough to get in. And they get a positive COVID test. There are thoughts. There are some thoughts here that they were looking for an opportunity. Is that fair to say?
I'm going to defer my opinion on this to Armstrong Sims, who feels very strongly about this.
Well, I'm a huge Coach K fan, but he hasn't been doing. He's just been sitting on his butt, watching his players, recruiting talent, and not doing any coaching since 2016. So, I would not be surprised. It's hard to think, in all seriousness, it's hard to think that a coach would legitimately, in this day and age, think, nah, I'm done with the season, right? I don't want to play another game. But his attitude all season has kind of been that way.
When I saw that story, and it was one, and of course we don't know about contact tracing, I thought the same thing. It's almost as if, and it's unfair, but then he's been almost ready to throw in the towel. Yeah. In fact, he even mentioned it. Remember, he mentioned it before Kim Mulkey mentioned, why are we doing this? Craig, your thoughts about Coach K and Duke?
Good riddance. I don't really care to see them in the tournament. We've seen them every year. I've been alive, basically. It's been clear they have not really been trying that hard this season, or if they have been trying hard, they're just not a very good team. They've been irrelevant to this basketball season, and I don't think anybody's going to miss them in the tournament, honestly. I mean, they haven't been a factor this year. So, it's, early on in the year, Coach K was complaining and talking about the virus, and you guys said that, well, it's because he doesn't have a good team. I said, well, we at least got to listen to a guy talking about the virus, but in hindsight, probably a lot of what he had to say about the season had to do with the fact that his team wasn't very good, and I don't know how much he really enjoyed coaching this bunch either. It's been, like I said, a very forgettable year. So, have fun in the offseason, I guess. I don't really care about Coach K that much. I respect him, but I don't care about him, being in the tournament every year. So it'll be a Duke-free tournament.
Well,
by the way, it's the first time in 24 years.
Beautiful.
24 years that they have not made the tournament.
Although I do enjoy seeing Duke lose every year. I mean, it is a good annual tradition for me.
But I think that Coach K built Duke on veteran teams. And then he got one championship with the one-and-dones. He did it in 2016. Right? 2015. Yeah, 2015. So 2015, he got it. And then since then, it's not really worked out. I mean, look, Zion got close.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was 2 years ago, though.
Yeah, I mean, they got close-ish. But I think that he needs to maybe adopt the old model and say, look, if he can get a Zion, always could take a Zion. But
he can get 5 Zions.
But is it working for him? Is it working for anybody now? Yeah, I mean, it's not working right now.
No.
Well, they just won. Wait a minute. I understand what you're saying. I get what you're saying. They won a national title 5 years ago. It's not like they won 25 of them. It's not like they did UCLA from the 60s and the 70s. Not many have won it's not like Alabama football, although it is Duke, but they did win 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's been 10, 12 years he's been in this drought.
No, but I would say that, this is not working for him.
And it's hard to say no.
It is hard.
It's hard. Scott Drew, and we've discussed it with Coach Jacobs and Jerome Tang and even Didier Malhotra. We've discussed it with him. It's tempting. It's like crack when you can get these one and done stars, right? And
but it's, what is your pitch to them? Is your pitch, we're going to play you all the time, or is your pitch, you're going to sit on the bench and play 10 minutes a game for season 1, and we're going to develop you, and then maybe you don't get the one and done.
Well, Zion's not going to do that because his pitch is, I have to play basketball for a year. I might as well, at least until they change the rule.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to go straight to one school. I'll go to Duke or North Carolina or Kentucky. It's 61-52. Baylor was up 9, and Kansas State back at the free throw line right now with about 8 minutes left in that game. So we'll see if Baylor can hold on and kind of open up that lead into double digits. Craig, what would you do if you were a coach at Kentucky and Duke and you could get them? It's hard to say no to them. Even Malhotra told me, he goes, it's not like we wouldn't say no to Cade Cunningham, right? But you're not going to get Cade Cunningham very often.
I mean, what are you asking? Are you asking me if I would take Cade Cunningham?
Yeah, I'm saying, how do you mix the one and dones with Kentucky can have 8 of them, Duke can have 3 or 5 of them, Baylor maybe doesn't get any of them. You're not going to say no to Cade Cunningham. Nobody in the world would say no to Cade Cunningham. But how much of a fine line is it to have a bunch of them, and yet again you're not winning with them right now? Kentucky's not. Neither is Duke.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not a coach. I don't know how to manage a roster. And, I mean, everybody's situation's different. Scott Drew doesn't have the luxury of coaching a bunch of one-and-done, so he might not be able to answer that all that well. You'd have to ask coaches who actually do that on a regular basis. I mean, that's not all of college basketball. That's like a handful of teams. So, we're following a team and talking about a team that is the complete opposite of a bunch of one and done. So I don't know. I don't know how you manage that. I mean, you try to get a couple guys who are just really good and have some veterans around them. I don't think it really probably works all that well if most of the team is one and done type guys. So you got to have a mix, but I don't know. I mean, it's obviously a difficult thing to do, and it's not something that it's going to necessarily keep you relevant every single year, as we're seeing with some of these teams.
All right, Baylor up 8. I think they're going to a timeout, and Baylor just turned it over after Kansas State had a dunk. We've not seen that often. That's another thing, Paul. I'm telling you, I understand that you can't have everything, but their interior defense, unless I'm just not very smart, is today.
Well, it's been a little suspect, since they've come back, and they've been able to look. They did a good job on Derek Culver. I don't think he had a field goal when they played against West Virginia. But I think that it's been a problem because they have, Flo Thamba's kind of gone out of the rotation a little bit. He's been reduced down because they've gone a lot more guard heavy in their lineup, and they've gone with the smaller lineup because their best lineup is when Mark Vital plays the 5. But that also means that there's going to be a lot of times where, that back door is open because you've got, you don't have anybody who can really match up physically. What I do worry about is like the matchup because you don't know who you're going to get in the draw
But
next
this
week.
is not someone who's like camping out inside and having to work for shots. These are absolutely...
The backdoor cuts are like really killing them. So
yeah, and they just had one, a dunk when the game got to 10. Next thing you know, it's down to 8. Kansas State has the ball back 63-55 with under 8 minutes left. In fact, exactly 7:05 left, they go to a timeout. All right, a couple of more things. Maceo Teague and Jared Butler named to the March Madness All-American team. This is just another outlet. So it's been interesting throughout the week. You had one team that came out, and Butler and Mitchell were first team, but Butler was not Player of the Year. And then you had a team come out where Butler was a all Big 12 Player of the Year, but then Mitchell was not a first-team guy. And then you have a team come out where Butler and Teague are All-Americans, but Davion Mitchell's nowhere to be seen. But the news is that you're always getting 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 guys among, and as the All-American team's obviously up a notch because 350 teams in Division I basketball. And so, but still, that's great. That's really good news. Butler's been pretty much honored by everybody, and he's a finalist for that Naismith Player of the Year as well. Now, Basketball Hall of Fame. Kim Mulkey will be inducted. It's the weekend of May the 14th, 15th, and 16th in Springfield, Massachusetts. They've come out with all the information, the schedule. So that now is official. Boy, what a group, too. Because you're talking about, Garnett and Kobe and among others, and Kim Mulkey's a part of that. Here's a stat from Max Olson. Les Miles and Jeff Long ended up combined made $13 to $14 million for their time in Kansas. Both of them are getting payoffs nearly of about $2 million to walk away.
You know when Jeff Long really got fired in my mind? When during the press conference, somebody asked him if he made good hires at Arkansas, and he said, yeah, I made good hires at Arkansas. Then the next question should have been, then, why are you here?
Yeah, no, you're right. By the way, from Scotty B, then back, Craig and Paul Catalina. Number one thing to improve on going forward, turnovers. Of course, interior defense needs to get better. I guess we will have that letdown game after such a great performance against Texas Tech on Sunday. 254-339-1122. Your thoughts about what you see now with Baylor as they're up 8 with 7 minutes left against Kansas State. That game is still, it's there. And, again, getting pushed just a little bit here in Kansas City. Winner will get Oklahoma State, who beat West Virginia by 3. Former Baylor offensive lineman Kyle Fuller. The Seahawks tendered an exclusive rights free agency tag to him. Huh?
Oh, good deal for him.
Yeah, that's good. That means he's going to make some cash. So good for Kyle Fuller as well. From Keith and Bernie. If you are Duke or Kentucky, you just throw away this COVID-19 and keep doing what you're doing. One and done's work in a season where you can build chemistry throughout the year without disruptions. I think if you're Coach K, you stay the course.
I disagree. They don't.
Well, Kentucky, it's been a while for Kentucky.
2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, Villanova, North Carolina, Villanova, Virginia, all those teams had no one-and-dones, were built on the backs of their seniors. It hasn't worked. The past 4 regular seasons, it has not worked. So I disagree with that.
There's been a stretch. Now, is it a trend or it's some evidence? It's a trend. If it's been 1 or 2 years and, they're still getting the Final Fours.
But the other thing that's happening, though, is while Kentucky and Duke and those teams are getting some one-and-dones, a lot of the one-and-dones that they would have been getting before are also like, take R.J. Hampton, for example. He went and played in Australia or New Zealand last year. So some of those guys that would put them over the top that would definitely be going to those 2 schools, those 2 guys, it's basketball. It's not like football where, 2 guys, it's okay, well, you still have to make 11. Those 2 guys that you would normally get are now just going to sit in the G League for a year.
And
so you're losing out on those.
So that means you might have to change your philosophy. That doesn't mean you turn down Cade Cunningham because nobody would, but you may have to be careful that you have to rotate 8 or 9 guys off your roster every year. And Coach Calipari's done that for quite some time. All right, Baylor up 11, just under 6 minutes left. 254-339-1122. Thanks to Keith. Thanks to Scotty for opening us up with the text line as well. Take a break right here and come back?
Yeah, sure.
Derek Johnson will join us today at 6:45. We'll have Mickey at 4:30 at 3:45. Mickey, Jason King, Paul Mills, Gary Franklin, and also some hopefully post-game coverage. Jason King and Ashley Hodger in Kansas City. Plus, we'll have a chance to maybe get a player or a coach in the post-game as well. This is SicEm365 Radio. Don Humidor and Coffee Beans. I talk a lot about their cigars. I smoke a cigar every once in a while. The other day had an Ashton cigar. It was absolutely fantastic. Churchill length, so smooth. Went to the golf course, and that's kind of when I usually have, if I have a chance to smoke a cigar these days, it's usually if I have a chance to play a round of golf. Didn't play golf, went on the range with what I think or hope might be a future son-in-law with Daniel and Jennifer, and I smoked a cigar while I was trying to help Daniel a little bit with his grip and his stance. But here's what Don Humidor also has. Great coffee beans, fantastic aroma, flavor, and you can get them at Don Humidor in the Town West Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco. CBD products, including VitaDreams, that allows you to perhaps get more sleep because you fall asleep sooner and more relaxed instead of tossing and turning, and the next thing you know, you're always looking at that time on your phone or maybe a clock or something that lights up in your room. And yes, the cigars from Ashton to Rocky Patel to Arturo Fuente to Cohiba to Padron, the elite names of cigars, including the number one cigar in the country and the world, Cuatro Nicaragua. It is Don Humidor and Coffee Beans. Tell them Smokey sent you. Carol and Ashley there, Town West Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco.
Qualified buyer, see dealer for details. The anniversary sales event is happening now at Richard Carr. 22 years in Central Texas is worth celebrating with big savings on all cars and trucks. Savings like $3,500 off a 2021 Buick Envision or Buick Encore GX. Save $6,000 off a 2021 Buick Enclave. Save $6,500 off a 2021 GMC Train or GMC Acadia. Come by for prize giveaways and deep anniversary discounts on every car or truck on the lot. It's the anniversary sales event going on now at Richard Carr.
At Richard Carr, we give you more.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs, even offering financing if that's needed. Everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
At Marco's Pizza, get craveable pizza made the Italian way with dough made from scratch, an original sauce recipe, 3 fresh signature cheeses, and premium toppings you love, served hot and safe. Right now, you can get unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. Why stop at just one? Order with your app or at marcos.com for curbside, carryout, or delivery today. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and 2-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
Parenting is full of surprises.
You never know what to expect.
So after our son was born, I called my Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent to set up a life insurance policy in case something happened to me.
Sawyer is now 2.
And we'll soon have a sister. There's no one else I would trust with protecting my family.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122. For your company's mass COVID testing, log on to impacthealthlabs.com.
All right, here we go. SicEm365 Radio. They're under the 4-minute mark television timeout. Baylor up 12. Had a rebound. Flo Thamba lost control. K-State hits a 3. Baylor turns it over. K-State going to the free throw line. The game more comfortable now with under 4 to go. Jared Butler just picked up his 4th foul. He's had some issues of late with the foul trouble. He had it against, who was it?
He fouled out against West Virginia.
Yeah, against West Virginia. And, of course, they were able to show their depth by handling that anyway. Craig, how important is it when you're a quarterback? This is completely off topic of the game itself as K-State goes to the free throw line. Zach Pyron, the quarterback commit from out of Alabama, I noticed today, and I've kind of gotten a little bit of word from his family, he now is going to be the ringleader, as in fact Kellen Mond was until he decided he was not going to go to Baylor. As in fact Kyron Drones has been. He seems to be one of those guys that's going to pick up the leadership role here with this class of 2022. How important is it that it's the quarterback? Does it have to be the quarterback?
No, it doesn't have to be the quarterback. It can be anybody, really. We just pay more attention when it's a quarterback because we pay more attention to quarterbacks. But it could be a wide receiver. It could be an offensive tackle. I mean, whoever is more of an outgoing guy and more of a leadership type of person that can, maybe have some influence on these guys and help wrangle them up and help form a pact of guys that all want to play together. I mean, it doesn't really matter who starts that. But, if you can have a guy like that, that's great. And if you can have a guy like that who also happens to be a quarterback and can have some influence on offensive players, that's great too. But no, I don't think it matters who it is. I just think it's good if you have a guy like that, and I don't think you have to have just one. You can have multiple. Your whole class could be like that. It doesn't have to just be a guy who's the quote-unquote ringleader or whatever. The fact that he's vocal and out there is great, and hopefully some other guys in this class are that way as well, and if they are, that should pay off, you would think, with at least some of the additions that we could see here in the future.
254-339-1122. Your thoughts and comments. Baylor right now with a 7-point lead as that game now under 3 minutes here within the next 5 seconds. And Kansas State had a point-blank shot at the bucket and missed it, now down just 7. 254-339-1122. Paul, now, you think if they do just kind of somehow make this happen, hit your free throws down the stretch if you can, you just carry it over to tomorrow, you get through this, and they just turn it over again, Baylor, with 2:50 left in the game.
Yeah, I mean, look, every game is a microcosm of itself. I would really like to see them win this because they never have, and very rarely have they played consistently well in Kansas City. It's kind of been, they play one game good, they play another game not so good. So it's just, it's been a bugaboo for them. And any team from Texas, really, in this tournament.
22 turnovers. They have 22 turnovers today. That's completely that's unacceptable.
No, and that's completely outside their character as a team. They don't usually do that.
And a lot of them are just lazy, sloppy. And perhaps after you beat a team by 50 or you score 100 points twice and then you blow out Texas Tech and you kind of have a feel-good thing that you have to get through this first one. Scott Drew said at halftime to Holly Rowe, when you play a team that played the night before, that doesn't always carry over this way, but a lot of times they'll start faster than you.
And they did. And part of that was, look, they beat the ever-loving dog crud out of TCU yesterday. So they're feeling it. I mean, Kansas State's feeling it. This is, when they lose, their season's over. When Baylor loses, nothing changes.
It was 12. Flo Thamba could not come down with a rebound, lost control of it. It's a 5-point game now. Baylor up with 2.5 minutes to go against Kansas State, and this has a feeling. It has one of those feelings of letting the game get away.
It absolutely does not. I completely disagree with you. It has a feeling of like not winning by as much as you should. And I'm not even watching. I bet you they're going to make a shot here. I'm not even going to look. They're going to make a shot here. Are they going to make a shot?
No, they just missed a shot. Kansas State got it. You mean to tell me?
It does not. No, it absolutely does.
Made a move.
What?
Keep going. Never mind.
It doesn't feel that way to me. I mean, it may. Look, and look, if
you
they
didn't listen to what I said.
Yeah.
Listen to what I meant.
Okay.
This has a feeling of how it happens in March Madness when you don't put a team away that you should bury, that you had in trouble, and you screw around, and the next thing you know, with 1:50 to go, you're up 5 instead of 15. You mean to tell me that that's not what's happened?
Yes, but I don't feel like this is a game they're going to lose. I just don't.
Well, yeah, they're up 5 right now. I didn't say you lose. This has got a March Madness upset feel.
A microcosm of what's going to happen tomorrow or 2 weeks from now or whatever. I just don't. I mean, I don't think this one game doesn't make a trend. Maceo
T with a runner off the glass. Craig?
I mean, I'm kind of with Paul here. Like, I'm not freaking out about this. If they lose today, I know a lot of people will be disappointed or whatever. I can't watch the game from where I'm sitting. So, like, y'all are talking about it, and I can't physically watch from my angle just with the way my setup is. So I'm blindly listening to this. But, like, I'm with Paul. I'm just not going to live and die on every possession for this team, every game of every, time they play. Like, so, they're not playing well today. It happens. They're not playing well enough to blow out a bad team. It happens. I would be more concerned if this was the actual tournament. I know what you're saying, like this is how you can get beat in the tournament, but this isn't the tournament. So, just like I said 30 minutes ago, win today, however you win, by 1, by 100, I don't care. Just win this game and then, move on to the next one. You're not going to look like the number 1 team in the country every time you hit the court. And I'm sure they probably are, a little, overconfident perhaps, or maybe they have read too many clippings, or maybe they've been too worried about awards season. I don't know. Maybe K-State's just playing well, but I'm not like Paul said, this is not a microcosm of like the entire season or what's going to happen here over the next 2 weeks. It's just a bad day, a bad game, and you hope it doesn't carry over.
By the way, 70-66, Baylor's going to the free throw line with 20 seconds to go. K-State had a shot to cut the lead to 1, and they just threw up a wild pass, and Butler hits the free throw, so the lead is 5. Bruce Weber looks like he's almost Greg Popovich mode with his hair. He looks like, what's the guy in that crazy movie that I don't know.
Look, Greg Popovich has got a whole George Carlin thing going on right now.
He does.
And Bruce Weber looks like he hadn't been to the barber. So, and
I was like
that. He also
that.
is wearing a polo untucked, like he just got done at the tennis club.
Yeah, I know one thing. He will be very proud of how his team played. Down 6 right now with the timeout, 20 seconds to go.
Let me see if I can do it. Weber, he's always look, I'm really happy about what we played.
Oh, yeah, Bruce Weber. Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
That's a heck of a team that Scott's great. They're really good. I'm happy with our guys.
Were they recently in the Final Four? Am I wrong about that? Didn't they have a team a year or two ago that was not last year, but a couple, 2 or 3 years ago? Didn't they share the Big 12 with Tech? When Tech went on to go to the Final Four, am I wrong there? They were good.
Yeah, they were good.
They were really good. By the way, Keith from Bernie, they needed the scare. Too many careless turnovers, and that's something that you hope you can kind of just maybe half of those are just from being a little bit out of whack or a little out of control. They're very undisciplined as well. So, but Baylor's looks like they're gonna move on. Maceo T. And I'll agree to disagree with both of you about the style of this game being one of those that, like, if you hit the 3 right there and then, something happens, that's how you have Georgia State beat Baylor. And now down to 10 seconds, well, Baylor is only up 4.
Georgia State beat Baylor because R.J. Hunter locked into a robotic zone.
But they kept it. They stayed around.
They were up by 12 with like 3 minutes left, and then R.J. Hunter was just like, boom, 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 boom.
Yep.
So,
and the thing is, too, is no one's disagreeing with you. This is how you can get beat in the tournament, but this isn't the tournament. Like, I think that's what Paul and I are saying is, yeah, you're right. We agree that this is how you could lose in the first round of the tournament. This is how you could lose in the second round of the tournament. This isn't the tournament. So yeah, like, hey, don't play this way in a week and you should be fine. But if they play this way in a week, then yeah, they'll probably be out early. But good news is they're not playing that tournament this week. So win here in the next minute or whatever. Go have a team meeting and watch some video and figure some things out and then play better tomorrow. But, I mean, the good news for them is this is not the NCAA tournament. Yep. So
if this was, can you imagine the pucker factor?
I mean, if it was, then I would actually be agreeing with you. But and I would actually, be freaking out alongside you. But it's not. So it's just, to me, it's a bad game and one that hopefully they don't replicate tomorrow.
By the way, Lovie Smith yesterday evening was officially announced as the Texans' new defensive coordinator. I reached out to Lovie because everyone knows I've had a friendship with him for a long, long time. He's going to be in the office Monday, and so there's a good chance we'll be able to handle we'll have a segment with Lovie Smith at some point next week.
A long time to announce.
Oh, my goodness. I've never seen it. It's been official for almost – 2.5, 3 weeks or so since Cully was hired? Isn't that right?
Yeah.
I don't know I don't know what it took. I don't know what it surely wasn't anything Lovie Smith. It's not like, Jeff Long would not have had to worry about a background check had he hired Lovie Smith, right?
Yeah.
So, but it took an inordinate amount of time, and we don't know why, but it did take a lot of time. But Lovie Smith, late yesterday evening, I guess it was, or maybe when I got home, I saw that flash up. Happy for him. I texted him. I said, does this mean we get you on? He goes, I'll be in the office Monday. I'll let you know. He's so tired of me. But I did leave him alone when it became kind of out there that he was going to be the defensive coordinator, and I've left him alone. He's a great guy. I can't wait to have him on the show. Derek Johnson will join us. It's going to be kind of a timing thing here. The game is about to end. Baylor up 5.
The good news for us is that there's a cooling down period before.
There's a cooling down period, and then what will happen is Baylor will have a media session. We'll be able to try to grab some of that. We'll have Derek Johnson on during that time about his contribution to giving away 200 free meals in Waco at a Bush's Chicken on New Road. And then after that, possibly be able to get a player after all of that, sometime around 4 o'clock. And Jason King will come in with us as well and give us an idea of what's going on with Baylor. Now, clock's running out. It's over. 74-68 Baylor gets through that first quarterfinal game, and now Oklahoma State tomorrow night. I think that game tips off right about the time we're off the air tomorrow. 254-339-1122, your post-game thoughts. Scotty B, by the way, gives us a tennis note, lost a doubles point to Texas A&M and College Station. They now need to win 4 singles wins to win the dual match against the Aggies. 254-339-1122, your thoughts and comments. Waiting for your post-game thoughts about today and the win against Kansas State. One more break here. Come back with the break. We'll be able to take some of your calls and text messages and also get to Derek Johnson in what he's doing to give back to his hometown of Waco, Texas. 254-339-1122, 254-339-1122. And this is SicEm365 Radio.
If you are trying to sell your house or looking for a new home, then you need to contact my good friend Lance Donaldson and the Donaldson family team, brokered by eXp Realty. Lance describes himself as a local realtor with a unique perspective. And I can tell you, knowing Lance as long as I have, a unique perspective is the best way to describe him. And I say that in jest and also as a huge compliment, because that's what he does. He'll have a way of finding that right house for you, whatever your price range, whatever your dream home or whatever you're exactly looking for, he'll find that right niche for you and your family, plus get you a great price on the home that you are selling. So give him a call, 254-214-3713, or just, get on your little Google machine, whether it's your phone, your computer, or whatever, and Google Lance Donaldson, eXp Realty. He'll take you to all the different pages that he has and all the different listings that he has. You can see all the great photos of houses that he's shown or he has listed and all of that. 254-214-3713 for Lance Donaldson and eXp Realty.
Y'all listen up. Let me tell you something about group meals from Rudy's Barbecue. It's got all you need for all the folks you gotta feed, smoked meat, sides, and more. There's everything down to the tablecloth, just like the one that you see at the store. At a bridal shower, it's better than flowers. And a long business meeting, it'll pass the hours. It'll feed all the cousins at a family function. It's better than potluck at a church luncheon. Next time you need to feed 10 or more, call and order a Rudy's group meal.
Next in line.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Ben Erlinson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Ben Erlinson, 100 North 6th Street in Waco, 254-759-8533. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
At Baylor University, students find their place to shine. They're faithful friends and inspirational leaders. They're championship teammates and independent thinkers. They're on the cutting edge of high tech and in the halls of history. If you want to make the world a brighter place, you can. And if you want to shine in your own way, you can. The spark you need is already inside you. Bring it to Baylor, where lights shine bright.
Get the vehicle you've been dreaming about at the President's Day event at Allen Samuels. The 2020 Dodge Charger Sxt, ranked #1 in initial quality and driver appeal, has special values of $6,170 or 0% for 72 months, plus $3,000 in combo cash. The 2020 Dodge Charger is at the forefront of muscle car design. From the body to the wheels, it continues to impress. Visit the customer award-winning Allen Samuels, located at 201 West Loop 340 in Waco, to see the 2020 Dodge Charger Sxt. See dealer for details. All offers have credit requirements.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trusted doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
Learning to navigate life in the COVID-19 world has been a struggle, and where and how to get tested has been one of the biggest challenges. Impact Health Labs has your answer. If you need mass testing for your office, church, dormitory, or school, Impact Health Labs is who to call. They will come to you, conduct the testing at your location, and have the test back within 24 hours. Most major insurance accepted, meaning your out-of-pocket cost is low. So no more waiting by the phone for days to find out the results. Impact Health Labs was founded by 3 Army licensed and credentialed medical professionals. They believe in accuracy, efficiency, and doing the job right. Call 254-744-6233 to set up your group screening today. Impact Health Labs, on-site, prompt, and accurate, taking COVID-19 head-on. Again, that number is 254-744-6233 or online at impacthealthlabs.com.
This is SicEm365 Radio. Text us at 254-339-1122. The SicEm365 Radio text line is sponsored by Riverbend Liquor and Wine, with the most extensive variety of craft beer in Waco. A hidden gem on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street.
All right. Baylor 74, Kansas State 68. Bears move into the semifinals of the Big 12 tournament. Oklahoma State tomorrow evening. And, of course, on the other side of the bracket, the Big 12 tonight. On the other side of the bracket, you have Texas. You have Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, and Texas Tech. And then those 4 will move into the other part of the semifinal, whoever wins tonight. We're now joined by Derek Johnson, former, and at every level he played, he was basically as good as you could be. At Waco High, at the University of Texas, and with the Kansas City Chiefs. And what brought my attention today was Derek Johnson and former Longhorns teammate Michael Huff and what they did to give back to the community. Derek Johnson joins us. Here's the tweet. You have it up, Armstrong? Do you? Okay, I'll have it in just a second. Derek with Paul Catalina, David Smoak, and Craig Smoak. Derek, I'm going to throw up the tweet in just a second. Here it is. Me and my Longhorn brother at Huffy247 teamed up to provide 200 meals at Bush's Chicken for free. The first 200, 12 o'clock tomorrow. That's Friday tomorrow. 3 chicken tenders, fries, gravy. I'm getting hungry. Dinner roll and a drink at New Road on Waco. Mention DJ or Huff and you're good. And, of course, the fist and also the prayer emoji. Derek, how you doing, man? What does it mean to you to give back to the community? You've done it before, but what does it mean?
Oh, it means the world to me. my mom, I give a lot of credit for instilling a lot of great values in myself at an early age, and to always stay humble and if you're a blessing, to be a blessing to others. And I have to give credit to Michael Huff. He's been doing, all kind of, probably every city in Texas, he's been doing almost like an act of kindness, especially with all the pandemic and everybody, just a lot of stress and people losing their jobs, and just a lot of things are going on. The weather, with busting pipes, and just a lot of stress going on. Michael Huff, he just started a deal where he's going around and just blessing a lot of cities in Texas. And after seeing that, I said, you know what? Why not I jump on that and be a blessing as well? So more is coming, obviously, but I tell you what, to be a blessing to Waco, to give back to my city, especially you want to do it for the people who really need it, obviously, during these tough times. So I'm excited about this tomorrow.
And so that's kind of just the genesis of this, is that people, everybody needs a good little kindness every now and again, Derek. So that's kind of how this started with Michael Huff. Exactly.
It's almost like a pay for it type of deal. And I tell you what a better way to give back than to provide for kids and families that who really need it. At the end of the day, not just someone who's looking for a free meal, but someone who says, man, this is going to help me, save some money this week, and not have to worry about, where I'm going to get the next meal from.
Derek, can you describe the bonds that you have with your former college teammates? I mean, you're obviously very incredibly proud to be a Longhorn. You're talking about, working with Michael there and others as well. Just what is it about that bond, that friendship, those friendships that you have extending back to your college days at Texas?
Well, that's what it's all about. That's why I always encourage all kids to shoot for you got to go to college. You have to go to college. You're going to meet some people in college that you're going to be lifelong friends, and you're going to experience a bunch of things that's going to help you throughout your whole life. And college is one of those experiences that I would cherish for the rest of my life, especially playing football. That's a whole nother element, a band of brothers when you talk about the Longhorn football team. And we just got close. I mean, we won a lot of games at the Longhorn, and to be on the 40 acres for 4 years straight, and to go to NFL and do a bunch of things. Michael Huff is he's a very inspiring guy, and it's pretty cool. This is actually pretty cool.
For Baylor fans, by the way, Derek Johnson with us for what he's giving back to the community in Waco. We'll get to your calls and comments on Baylor advancing past Kansas State to get to the semifinals of the Big 12 tournament here momentarily. Derek, you did this. There's first 200 meals. I put it up on Twitter. You had it up on Twitter. I retweeted that. I just did it again to tell everyone we had you on the show with Bush's Chicken on New Road. So how does – I know it sounds simple. Someone calls Bush's, you give them a debit card number or something. How does this work, and how quickly can you turn it around?
Well, yeah. It's definitely got to be a week in advance type of thing. But just talking to the managers over there, they were very receptive. And actually, one of the managers said, you know what, man, your mom taught me when I was in middle school at sixth grade math. So it's just a small world, man. Waco is my roots, and I've always been a Bush's Chick, especially when I went to Waco High back in, graduated in 2001. I'll tell you what, they've always just held up great class and did things the right way. And there are going to be more opportunities in the future to feed Waco, especially the people who need it. So I'm excited about it.
So Michael Huff, and I did notice this, by the way, he has, without question, been doing this all over the state of Texas, not just Austin or Dallas or wherever else.
Yeah.
I mean, this has got to be like the 30th or 40th time I've seen him involved in something like this, if not maybe more.
Exactly. And you look at it, and you can't get but inspired when you look at a guy that obviously God has really blessed him to make a lot of money in NFL and have success on the football field. But to actually take time out to say, you know what, there's a lot of stress going on, there's a lot of bad things happening. Let me give some light to some cities and hook up with some Longhorn buddies And man, he's doing a great job. I mean, he not only, of course, this is not going to be a one-time thing for me. He started something that I can give back whenever I want to, and it's going to be more often.
So you guys are going to get to go to a bunch of places you maybe haven't been to in a while. Sounds like.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. So, man, it's just awesome, man. And when you think of the Waco, Bush's Chicken, you know, that kind of pops up in my head quickly. So that's kind of the first people I call.
Hey, Derek, I was curious. I mean, I've lived in Waco for going on like 7-8 years now. You obviously were in Waco long before I was. What do you think of the way the city's grown over the last few years? I mean, you know, McLean Stadium obviously had a big impact, but now downtown's being reconfigured. I mean, it just seems like there's construction everywhere. What have you thought about just the way that the city has kind of blown up over the last 4 or 5 years?
You know what? Proud. I come to Waco quite a bit. My mom still stays there, and I tell you what, I was just there a couple of days ago. I tell you what, I'm a proud a Waco citizen. That someone who drives in the city, you can see that McLean big stadium right there off the Brazos River, and every time I get a chance to go downtown or just to see, Baylor is a big part of it, obviously, but at the same time, being in Waco. It's pretty cool. I mean, I've seen Waco. Look, I think Waco is really small. It's a small town, but at the same time, there's some things where you go there now, and some people say, "Man, Waco, this is pretty cool." You know, they got some buildings coming up, and Baylor's a big part of it. So that's pretty cool.
Have you seen the Baylor men's basketball team play at all on TV?
You know what? I've seen highlights, and I mean, the Baylor program is just, you know, I was a Baylor fan before I was a Longhorn. Obviously, growing up in Waco, my brother played for Baylor Bears. Sister graduated from there, so you know, that Sic'Em Bears. I did that a lot.
So wait a minute. If McLean Stadium was where it was back in like 2000 or 2001, then maybe Derek Johnson could have stayed in Waco. I'm kidding. Maybe.
You never know.
Derek, you know that Waco High with Coach Helt, I know Kwame tried to do whatever he could. It did not work out. He's out. But Coach Helt, your thoughts about the new coach? What do you know about Waco High and the coaching change?
Well, you know what? I went to go meet him, and I tell you what, the coach is really he's a young guy. We're about the same age. But I tell you what, the leadership, as soon as he walked in the room, you shake his hand, you know he meant business. And he's about getting back into the community, getting these players, not these players going to La Vega and just, you know, they got so many other places that other young athletes want to go instead of Waco High. Waco High needs to be the first. I mean, that's how it was back in the day. If you're a football player, big time football player, you go to Waco High, and hopefully he can get that spark back into that Lions pride. And I'm rooting for him. Of course, we're gonna try to help him out with the booster club and get some things going. But I'm excited about it.
Derek, thank you for what you do, what you've done, and also giving back to the city of Waco. Again, that's tomorrow at 12. Mention DJ or Huff at the Bush's Chicken on New Road. They have taken care of the first 200 meals at that time. It'll be interesting to see how they manage through that, because Bush's can do it, and it couldn't be done without Derek Johnson and Michael Huff. We appreciate your time.
Hey, thank you so much.
Derek Johnson. I didn't have time. Next time we have DJ on, and he just told me he has five boys and a newborn.
Oh,
you're talking about a handful. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You know what you don't? If you have 5 boys in a house, you know what you don't have is fancy china.
No, you don't. You don't. Well, we
anything,
had 4.
Or another kid.
Yeah. He's got 5 boys and a newborn.
Yeah. How much stuff did you and your brothers break, Armstrong? A lot?
Oh, everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
All right, from Daniel, that was too damn close. Too many turnovers, too many defensive breakdowns. Need to clean it up before tomorrow. That's from Daniel. And Scotty B, definitely must be better tomorrow. But as for today, I can take an ugly win over a bad loss anytime. Baylor beats K-State 64-58, 74-68 to move on. When we come back, some post-game coverage. Jason King as well from Kansas City at some point. This is SicEm365 Radio.
2021 is here, so make it great by starting big at the New Year New Ride Savings event at Richard Carr. It's stimulus and refund check time, so if the government's giving you some of your money back, take it and multiply it with savings at Richard Carr, and you'll find big savings like the 2018 GMC Sierra or a 2019 Buick Encore for $16,800. You can get an almost new 2020 Honda Civic for only $21,900. Payments on late model cars and trucks for under $200 a month for qualified buyers, and they have hundreds of used cars and trucks priced to move during the New Year New Ride Savings event. Other deals include 0% for 72 months on a new 2021 Buick Encore with payments as low as $318 a month and no money down. You can get a money-saving lease on the stylish, intelligent, and nimble 2021 Buick Encore GX Preferred with on-the-go Alexa technology for only $293 a month for qualified buyers. And during the New Year New Ride Savings event, all pre-owned cars and trucks are priced to move. So maybe your credit's as bad as 2020 was. Well, it's a new year, and in 2021, 100% credit approval is Richard Carr's goal. So bring your tax refund or your stimulus check to Richard Carr, and they will stimulate your stimulus with even bigger savings that will pay off for years. Go to Richard Carr Motors today for details and a test drive, or log on to richardcarr.com now and have them bring the test drive to you. Make 2021 the best year ever, starting with a new car or truck during the New Year New Ride Savings event at Richard Carr.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Engel at the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like instant issue debit cards free at all of our banking centers, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
In the market for a quality metal building? Since 1943, Pioneer Steel & Pipe has helped Central Texas residential and commercial customers with metal building design, panel options, building components, and trim options. Pioneer Steel & Pipe's residential line is energy efficient, offers low maintenance, reduces insurance payments, is impact resistant, and carries up to a 45-year limited warranty. In addition, they can also help you find a metal building contractor for your project. Pioneer Steel & Pipe with locations in Waco and Bryan and at pioneersboys.com.
Don's Humidor, your home with a 48-foot walk-in humidor with the elite cigar brands from around the world, including the #1 cigar of the year, Aging Room Cuatro Nicaragua. Plus, they have the great brands like Macanudo and Artur Fuente, Rocky Patel, Aston, and so much more. CBD, great for sore muscles, aches and pains, sleep, Vita Dreams, and anxiety, mild depression, general health and wellness. Their staff very knowledgeable on the subject. If anyone is curious about CBD, ask Carol and Ashley. Don's Humidor in the Townwood Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones Whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new Lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
It's time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, or get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. Order 30-pound sacks of live crawfish by 6 on Wednesday. Pick up on Friday afternoon after 2 or Saturday. Enjoy the weekend. 30-pound sacks of live crawfish available right now for $4.25 a pound. Find all the crawfish boil ingredients you need, including red beef potatoes, sausage, corn cobettes, and Louisiana boil seasoning. Make your order for live crawfish by Wednesday at 6. Pick up on Friday after 2 or all day Saturday, and enjoy the weekend. Waco Custom Marketplace, your home for fresh baked kolache, cinnamon rolls every day. Butcher shop to cut your steaks the way you want. Fresh seafood, summer sausage, boudin, house cured and smoked bacon, spices, seasonings, soup mixes, and more, and weekly gift boxes for any occasion. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
Backdoor, Meyer stuffs it home.
The 4 o'clock hour is sponsored by Boozer's Jewelers, the wedding ring store, specializing in custom jewelry and repair, all in-house.
Now here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
All right, one of the things that just jumped out at me on the box score, and a couple of you sent this to me as well. Adam Flagler did not take a shot, had a rebound and an assist. Didn't play very long. Matthew Meyer, remember, he was not good on Sunday against Texas Tech, and I'm not saying this to get on his you-know-what. He saved their butts last week. In fact, Van Fraschilla mentioned that during the broadcast. Matthew Meyer scored 3 points, had a block, had 3 rebounds. And Jonathan Chamwachachua had 3 rebounds, turned it over twice and 4 fouls. So if you take Thamba, JTT, Flagler, and Meyer combined, those 4 scored 7 points. Mark Vital had 10 boards, 6 assists, scored a couple of points, and had 2 steals, and that's a Mark Vital box score on occasion.
And that's a big deal because usually Baylor gets so much off the bench.
Yep.
But really it was 3 guys who
they had
led
5 bench points.
Yeah, and so that's very today was a very unusual game. By the way, start the countdown or be on alert.
Yeah, there's a good chance we're going to get a player. Baylor, again, what happens is the game ends, there's a buffer period, and then there's a media session, which, of course, everything is on Zoom. And then after that, after that, you have the 45-minute clock or whatever when the game ends. The locker room's open. Paul and I, Craig, all of us have had these moments where this is when you hustle. The locker room would open. We would go in the locker room and get opportunities outside of the podium. And that's when you get your best stuff. And then Scott Drew or Kim Mulkey outside of the locker room would be available for us to also get more. And it's not available. We don't do it. We can't do it, but we're going to have a player here pretty soon.
This is a little inside baseball, I guess, or inside basketball. But the tricky part is when you're doing this alone, how long do you stay at the podium before you go to the locker room? And
when we were in the middle of our peak, when we were able to do things we wanted to do, we would have somebody would stay at the podium and somebody would go to the locker room. Craig's done that. Paul, you've done that. I've done that. I think my best timing for whatever, I don't know why it worked out the way it did, was in Tampa when the Lady Bears won the national title. I was able to have a chance to be able to put the podium audio while also getting some players in the locker room as well, along with getting Kim Mulkey right after that, just outside of the locker room as well. So Baylor advances. They beat Kansas State 74-68.
Jared Butler.
And we're now joined by one of the Naismith Player of the Year candidates, Big 12 Player of the Year, Jared Butler on SicEm365 Radio with David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak. Jared, it wasn't pretty, but you won the game in advance. Was today kind of a struggle to get through, and how happy were you just to win the game?
Yeah, most definitely. It was definitely a struggle today. Kansas State, they had the advantage of already playing last night. And, the first 10 minutes was just rough of getting back and getting the wind underneath you. And, but like you said, it's the win. It's March, and everything doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is a win. And that's what we got to do tonight, so that was good.
How much were you guys kind of feeling like, look, this is they got to shoot their shot here, so to speak, and that this is their last game of the season now, that they were carrying the momentum from last night?
No, for sure. When you're desperate, shots go in. When you got nothing to lose, those are the worst people to play with. And they showed that tonight. They had an extremely hard fight. They shot the ball well, and they played some great defense. And but like you said, they were desperate. But I feel like they fought pretty hard.
Jared, what was the conversation like with the coaches after the game? What were their thoughts on just, how you guys played and now regrouping and, turning around and getting ready for another game tomorrow?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that we're going to have to expect these every game in March to be physical because refs want to stay out of it and not determine the game. And we just got to be ready physically, for these tough matchups. And I think the biggest thing is keep getting our bodies right for the next game and, take one game at a time. So that's what the conversation was like.
Jared, you beat Kansas State badly both times you played them. They never led in either game. And then, of course, you're coming off that massive win at home against Texas Tech where everything went well. Was there any, in your opinion, either a letdown or maybe overconfidence that played into today?
No, I don't know if it was overconfidence or anything like that. It's just that, Kansas State was played pretty well. I think we didn't play our best game, and we didn't come out with enough physicality, and we didn't come out with enough energy, and that's just on us. But I think I think we're in the groove of playing, and we're going to play tomorrow and the day after that for the win. So I think now we're in the groove, and I think we were kind of not in the groove today, but I think we still play well.
One guy who's been in the groove for, pretty much the whole season, but Maceo Teague the last 3 games has really been locked in. What's that like, kind of watching that next to him as he is just so on fire right now?
Yeah, it's tremendous to watch because he works so hard. He has an extremely hard work ethic, and like you said, the last 2 games he's been phenomenal. And it's good for me because it takes the pressure off me. I don't have to do too much. I got other guys on my team that can score, and I just try to do my role. And I think that's why we're so dangerous of a team. We got guys like Maceo Teague, Adam, and they can light it up. So, yeah.
So, Jared, I went to Kansas City last year, didn't get to see any basketball. I was there for like 25 hours before heading back to Waco. What's it like to be in Kansas City a year removed from, everything going haywire?
Yeah, it's kind of like deja vu for the most part up to today. And it's kind of crazy. But, just crazy how time flies. Like, it's just a year from now and we're back where we were. And, it's just fun, exciting, glad we get to play. Glad there's some fans out there. I'm excited to be for a championship.
Jared, I know you got to go to do more media, but are you starting to think you're now a shot blocker? Because that was beautiful. I mean, you had the dunks last week. You got
I think so a little bit. I think I'm just trying to get up there a little bit, but try to help everybody else. Man, that's what I'm trying to do.
Just give me one Mutombo, one time. Yeah, that's all I want to see.
All right.
Jared, we appreciate who you are, how you play, what you represent. Congratulations on the win. Get some rest. It's an early game, so you have a little bit more rest. Thanks for your time. We'll talk to you again very soon.
Yeah, appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much.
That's Baylor senior guard, and he's awarded by everybody basically in various ways across the country and the Big 12 Conference. Jared Butler, senior guard. Jared today finished with 18 points. He had 4 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block. He did have 7 turnovers. Mitchell had 6, and Baylor had 21. You got to clean that up. Not even just half of that. You got to clean that up badly.
And thanks to one of the best in the biz, David K., for setting that up.
David K. was amazing to do that as well. Craig, that's not bad, right? Get Jared Butler on, a chance to visit with a guy who's up for the Naismith Player of the Year.
Yeah, no, not bad at all, and good to hear his thoughts. I mean, I think he's, your hands were, I don't know, you're clasping. I don't know what the proper phrase is here, but your hands were ringing a little bit earlier, and I think Jared's kind of more the mentality of Paul and I of just like, hey, it wasn't a great game. You win it, though, and you move on. So I know there will be, articles written or recaps already written about how poorly they played today or how ugly they looked playing today or whatever the case may be, but they won. I mean, they won. So
you're right.
We'll see how they play tomorrow, and if they play poorly tomorrow, then, maybe there's a little room for concern, but I think, K-State coming in with some momentum. Their backs are against the wall. They have no chance but to win, all these games, and so you're facing a team that was playing hard and trying to knock you off, and you were still able to win despite playing poorly. So that's really all that matters in the end, and just, hopefully, have a little bit of a sharper performance tomorrow.
How good was that, David K.? Thank you.
Yeah. That's the attitude, though, I think that's part of the reason this team is so successful. And you'll look at teams, and if they have If they have one of two attitudes to me, if they are either not bothered but not like worried, like you can be bothered but not worried. Like they're not worried. Worry is a bad thing when you're trying to build momentum in a tournament. I've seen a couple of Baylor teams that you could tell that they were like worried down the stretch. This team is not worried at all. And that's good. I mean, like Jared doesn't worry. Okay, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, one, they don't have to win another game until the tournament. And then you have to win 6. Every time you don't get past 1, you're done. Mm-hmm. They seem to be able to react to what happened against Iowa State and Kansas with a nice performance, especially when they had to play well against West Virginia in what eventually sewed up the Big 12. And then after they got that game out of the way, my goodness, it wasn't as if Oklahoma State was easy, but they controlled that game, especially the second half, and they obviously just destroyed Texas Tech on Sunday. All right, 254-339-1122. We'll hear from Jason King a little bit later on. Mickey Spagnola will join us at 4:30, the day after Dak signs his deal. And also today, former Baylor assistant Paul Mills, Oral Roberts, is going to the dance after a couple of nights ago they beat North Dakota State. And former Baylor guard Gary Franklin. Dig deep into his life and also his time at Baylor and what he's doing now.
Don't take the break yet. We got some time. We hit this a lot earlier than I thought we were.
Oh, I was just setting up the rest of the segment.
Okay, just making sure I was worried that you were going to take a break.
254, no, that's good. I'm glad, but to reiterate that, 254-339-1122. 254-339-1122, SicEm365 Radio, the video and audio. You know what we did not do? I didn't get back with Colt. I watched the thread yesterday on the premium section about what Colt did with the app, and it has changed the game. Even more so, we've had a lot of success, a lot of growth and movement and upward, with a bullet. But Colt did. What did he do? What did he do? Because all I know is that everybody that I have heard has had issues with it being interrupted, or it worked at least yesterday.
Yeah, he created a separate, feed or something right there, Armstrong, so that it took care of the dropouts.
Yes, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure people were having problems with the app cutting out, glitching out, stuff like that. And he fixed that problem, so it no longer should just stream smooth audio no matter what you do on your phone.
Also, just a reminder to everyone, be sure to update your apps regularly.
What do you mean?
Some people don't.
Why don't they tell you to?
Well, I mean, some people don't have that setting where it's automatic or...
Oh, okay, because mine does it,
the little red number pops up. Yeah. Some people aren't bothered by the little red number. I don't know those people. I don't know why those people aren't.
I get I do get a number on my SicEm365 app.
You're not bothered by the number?
The little red numbers by the app?
Yeah.
Nah, it doesn't bother
me. Does it bother you?
Doesn't that mean you should do something with it?
I have like 90,000 unread emails or something.
Why would you put your email on your phone then? I don't understand.
I need you
never to show me your phone.
I need you to
every app is going to have a number.
Either never show it to me or give it to me and give me a night, and I'll get rid of every damn one of them. Craig, do you let the inbox in your email light up with unread email or a number next to it on your phone?
No, I don't do that. I read my email. Why have it if I don't read it? So no, I clean mine every day. I really don't know how you could possibly have, like, some of these people take pictures and there's like legitimately like 1,300 unread emails. Like, I don't even, like, that's just a level of laziness I don't quite comprehend, because you can just simply go click all and it highlights all of them and you can just read them all at once or delete them all at once. So, like, there's really no reason other than pure laziness to have like 2,000 unread emails in your inbox. I'm an organizer type, so no, I don't let that get as high as some people might.
I don't either. I can't stand it. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, I don't know.
Drives me nuts.
I'm curious about this guy we've got on the phone right now.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Stephen from Virginia, you're on the Impact Health Labs caller line on SicEm365 Radio. Are you an email reader and a text clear outer, or do you let those pesky numbers just sit there on your phone like a psychopath?
So I'll let you know that for a while I did do what Armstrong did. But about a month and a half ago, I came to Jesus that I was too old to not read my emails. So now, for about a month straight, I have read my emails or deleted all the crap ones every day at, like, I've got a certain time that I go through my email.
Good for you. You're growing up on me, Stephen. Every single.
This is my phone app.
There's a phone. There's a picture, Stephen. I'm not sure if you can see it if you're on the phone with us, but on Armstrong's email app, his call app. 182 missed calls.
I'm gonna go.
All right, let's get back to the game.
Yeah, go ahead.
Stephen, your thoughts about
on the floor.
Your thoughts about Baylor beating Kansas State and finding a way to move on.
You can't let Drake get away with this because Drake screenshotted his screen the other day, and Drake has like 400 unread text messages. And I wondered why he never gets back to me, but I guess he never gets back to me.
That answers everything.
Shocking.
Yeah, that answers everything. With him not paying attention, never listening to us anyway. Now we know why.
Oh, shocker. Oh.
He doesn't listen to anyone, Smokey. It's not just you. I'm glad I could bring this to light.
Let me tell you something. That's about to change, young man. Stephen, your thoughts about Baylor beating Kansas State?
I got to say that every time Baylor plays another close game and wins, I feel a little bit better because I know that's what the NCAA tournament's going to be like. So I was really encouraged that they won. You know, and this is actually the first time all year. I've been telling people to bet the over on Baylor all year, and I had it at 137.5. And this is the first time all year that I actually put my money where my mouth was and did it. So I sat there and really sweat when Jared Butler went to the line to shoot 2. So if y'all can tell him thank you for me, I really appreciate that. Great free throw shooters hit great free throws in critical moments. So great game today, guys, and I'm glad I could bring up Drake and Armstrong. They're too old not to answer their messages. I'll catch y'all later, guys.
Thank you very much. Great to hear from you, Stephen, from Virginia. Appreciate him. Stephen cracks me up. He's like our watchdog. He is not afraid to turn people in.
He's kind of like the who is it? ESPN. They have the ombudsman.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly who he is. The Players' Championship in golf. Sergio Garcia went out and shot 7 under today. Shot a 65. Right now has a 2-stroke lead on Brian Harmon, who's on the course. Of some of the bigger names, Morikawa is 3 under, still on the back 9, but. Jordan Spieth, 2 under with 4 holes to play. Mickelson, 1 under done. Justin Johnson, 1 under done. Armstrong, am I not paying? Okay, Bryson DeChambeau in a huge group at 1 under par and still on the course. So is Jason Day. Where is Rory?
Rory is way down there.
Patrick Reed, even.
There was a video earlier of Ian Poulter, Rory McIlroy, Henrik Stenson, and Tyrell Hatton sitting at a table getting lunch together after they finished their round, and they said that table is just combined 29 over.
Yeah.
I thought 29 beers after being 29.
29 over.
Stenson's 13 over. Jimmy Walker's 11 over.
He's really struggling.
Now, I don't know if Smokey, if you saw
McIlroy 7 over 79.
If you saw
this is rough.
Byung-Han on 17 today.
He had 11?
He had 11. He went in even par. And then he got an 11.
Jimmy Walker's 3rd to the last. Kevin Na shot 81.
I know part of it is you have to play the whole course, but I do think that sometimes TPC should just open up for people that just want to play that one hole. Just
they do. I think they on occasion. Tony Finau 6 over. Yeah. These are some of the best in the world. Where's DJ?
He's at 3 over, I believe.
Okay. Dustin Johnson 2 over through 17.
Armstrong, how do you think you would do on 17?
Oh my gosh.
Would you shake? Would you be? Let's say.
I think I could do better.
Even if you were having fun and you could hit the green, if you just could take an 8 iron, a 9 iron, a 7 iron, whatever it would take, the wind's blowing, you don't know, wherever the pin is, just reach the green. Would you shake a little bit? Be nervous about hitting the green?
Yeah. If I hit the green, I'd be so excited that I'd 4-putt. You know.
Craig's not really into golf. He's not golf much. But, Craig, you know the 17th hole, the Island Green at TPC. If, in fact, you got up to the tee box, how much fun would that be to try to hit that green?
Well, I'm sorry to say you're wrong. I don't know that hole. I don't recall golf holes like that. I mean, golf is just not something that I've ever become, like, super invested. I had a time where maybe I got a little bit of interest, but Put it up, I don't know that hole. I don't recall holes like that, like people like the Masters and this.
Yeah.
And I don't know all that stuff. Sorry.
Okay, we might. Well, if we show a picture of it, there we might have a picture from Armstrong. Okay, Baylor 74, Kansas State 68. More of your calls, text messages 254-339-1122. That is the number to call. That's the Island Green. It's just intimidating. There was a year that the Super Bowl was in Jacksonville and the media party was at the Players' Championship or at the TPC, and you could go out there, and I didn't get there in time for them to hit balls, but just looking at it, it was kind of dusk. Looking at it was intimidating as it could possibly be. Now, a couple more notes in the game. Not a good performance today. The boys played like they were annoyed to have had to get dressed up for this one. I don't care if they're playing the local junior high, need to use these games to prep for the dance. I don't know what was accomplished other than embarrassment, and there'll be more on point tomorrow. Not sure that was. I'm not sure that was the case as far as embarrassment. 5 points off the bench, maybe a minority view, but I thought we got more from Flo than we have the last couple of games. Flo Thamba was 1 of 2 from the field with 2 rebounds, 1 block, 3 fouls. But he's there to give you some height early on, play defense, and there was no defense inside.
No.
Is that a Thamba John Wachachua thing, or is that just the way the defense was not rotating?
I think it's not necessarily that. I think it's just that smaller lineup and the way that they have to attack it when they're playing vital at the 5. They play defense a little differently. And if you put Everyday John or Flo down there, then you can kind of gum up the works a little bit. But Flo Thamba's minutes have dropped the last couple of weeks, and that's because the lineup that works best are the lineups that you're seeing into the most time. So, it's a risk you have to take. It's a give and take because you want to have your best lineup in there, but it's not like every lineup is going to have the same strength and same weaknesses.
Yeah, by the way, here's one stat that does surprise me. Not the offensive rebounds. Kansas State killed Baylor with 13 of them. Baylor still out-rebounded K-State 30-28, which is not a very high number for either team. Usually about 75 rebounds in a game every time I've ever looked at the total number. So they did out-rebound, and Vital had 10, 70-28, 30-28. But Bradford. Bradford had 18 points today. Seemed like he had 8 to 10 rebounds, but he only had 3 rebounds, and he kept them in the game early when they had Davion Bradford kept them in the game early. All right, we're going to try to peel some of the post-game audio. We'll hear from Mickey at 4:30. We'll also hear from Jason King. There it is, Craig, on your screen.
I don't know if he can see it.
Yeah, he may not be able to see it because of the setup today. On your screen right there, there's the green, and you hit from that. There it is. That's the shot right there. And a lot of balls.
I mean, seeing that, the thing that looks like from that angle, that looks like it's way far away. Yeah. But the challenge is that it's not.
No, it's not. Yeah. And the challenge is that even if you hit the green, where the pin is here, that's a 4th-round pin on the right side corner. If you hit the green and you're on the left side, there is almost like a table shell, like a table at the front of a table away from where you are on the undulation. So that's and the crowd's going nuts as well. It's kind of like 17
There's the 11.
At TPC. Is this Young? Whom today had the 11. Just unfortunate for him as well. Matt in D.C. K-State playing the best they have all year in rhythm. We had a bye week at away. Happens to every sport. Talent overcame the mistakes. Win by 1 every game you can in March. And maybe April. When we come back, Mickey Spagnola. When we come back, Jason King. And down the road of the 5 o'clock hour, tournament bound, Dance City for Oral Roberts and Paul Mills. He'll join us along with Gary Franklin. He loves this Baylor team. This is SicEm365 Radio. Pioneer Steel and Pipe. Pioneer Steel and Pipe in Waco and Bryant, 1943. Pipe and steel, the Pioneer way. They can help you with metal buildings, design it, build it. Metal roofing, quality protection every day. And pipe and steel, the structural standard that you want and deserve and you expect from Pioneer Steel and Pipe, from structural, pipe, structural, steel, purlin, tubing, beams, weld plates, H-braces, and fence posts, culverts and gates, sheet and expanded metal. Both in Waco and Bryant, open on Saturdays from 8 until noon. Building, they're known as the Pioneer Boys as the building wizard as well. That's what they do. They are really good at helping you look at different designs, different colors, and what others have done. Pioneer Steel and Pipe have their new building. They're working on that. It's going to take a long, long time on the corner of 340 and 12th Street, but they have been in business through thick and thin, through the good and the bad, through whatever we deal with in America from 1943, pioneerboys.com.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness was built to help give you a chance to enjoy elite tennis facilities and also remain fit or reshape your body. Now Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness has gone through its own physical changes. There are 7 large flat screens stretched across the main and improved weight room with Wi-Fi available and their own app to enjoy news, business, weather, or sports channels. The beautiful sound of active treadmills and elliptical machines, group exercise classes throughout each day, a new ballet bar for bar classes, a new look lounge and bar with beer and wine with more large flat screens available. Touchless water fountains outside each spacious men's and women's locker rooms, showers, sauna, and whirlpool. Upgraded PA system throughout the world-class tennis courts and lessons for adults and juniors. I promise you'll look and feel better. You just need to walk through the front door. Also, Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness with personal trainers Christy London and Randall Corley. 40-plus group exercise classes, including twice-a-week boot camp. So start today, not tomorrow, at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lakeshore Drive in Waco.
March marks 22 years for Richard Carr Motors. Celebrate with big savings going on now during the anniversary sale event.
I hate my job, but I don't mind getting up in the morning. I dread each day, but I can't wait to get out of bed. You ask me why, and what I'll say to you is true. Well, you can get breakfast tacos at Rudy's Barbecue. Scrambled eggs and brisket, they ain't fooling around. Sausage wrap, son, they're the best in town. Barbecue for breakfast, yes, it's true. Put a smile on your morning at Rudy's Barbecue. Next in line.
We've sent the nomination forms to area high school counselors for the 11th annual Academic All-Stars team, and we will find 20 elite student athletes who excel in both academic and athletic competition from Central Texas high schools. Hello, everyone. This is David Smoak. Our title sponsor is Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, protecting Texans since 1952. The 2021 Academic All-Stars program is also brought to you by Westdale Asset Management, Englander Design Pack, Southwest Sports Medicine, Allen Samuels, Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat, Coca-Cola of Waco, Ray Broker Air Conditioning and Heating, Texas Sports Hall of Fame, HEB, the McLean Group, Universal Windows Direct, Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, and the Waco Foundation are 501c3. Nomination deadlines March 31st. We'll eventually announce the team on Monday, May 3rd. Honor them at our annual banquet on Wednesday, May the 19th. It's the 11th annual Academic All-Stars team highlighting the elite student athletes in Central Texas right here on SicEm365 Radio.
Anytime I've tried to get a bargain, I got just that. It was a bargain.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. It's time for our weekly segment with Mickey Spagnola of DallasCowboys.com. Brought to you by the First National Bank of Central Texas, with 5 locations to serve you.
So today in the Big 12 in Kansas City, Oklahoma State beat West Virginia 72-69. Baylor 74, K-State 68. They will play tomorrow night at 5:30 in the semifinal game. Tonight, Kansas and Oklahoma tip off at 5:30, followed by Texas and Texas Tech at 8:30. They'll play tomorrow night in the second game. All those who survive at 8:30. The championship game is on Saturday at 5 p.m. We're not joined by Mickey Spagnola, DallasCowboys.com. We'll hear from Jason King from Kansas City after Baylor's win against Kansas State as well. All right, Mickey, thank God we can all breathe. No more anything about Dak. And obviously everybody had an opinion on it. Just how much, as someone like yourself, and you're pretty conservative about getting up and down too much on the elevator shaft of emotions, how much, though, is it nice just to know it's done?
Well, the other day when we finally got word, when the email came out from the Cowboys to announce it on Monday, and they wanted to have a quick reaction from us the next morning, or what was the best thing about the deal, and my reaction was, it's done. It's like we can move on. We can talk about something else for a change. You see a lot of things go on, but I think what happened in this case is the agent didn't do much talking, if at all, right? Dak said very little. As a matter of fact, in the press conference, he said, I didn't talk about it except when you guys asked me, and I gave you generic answers. And the Cowboys really publicly didn't really say anything. So everybody then owned the right to come up with whatever reason they wanted to come up with for why this wasn't getting done, to the point where too many people came to the faulty conclusion that the Cowboys didn't want Dak Prescott, that they weren't respecting him, that they didn't want to pay him the money he deserved. Well, then they pay him the money supposedly everyone said he deserved, and then the other side of the pancake comes, well, they paid him too much money. Well, why would they do that? And so I think the answer to that question on both sides, that this is why it took so long. It was a very difficult negotiation to have to navigate not only through what the quarterback market was and what was going to be, but COVID-19 restriction and where the salary cap was going to be. There were so many elements in this thing. It's no wonder it took like 23 months to get this thing done.
Mickey, is that not like the whole thing about being a fan? Like everybody, like all these fans who are concerned about it, Dak comes out and Jared comes out, and it didn't, at least from what we heard publicly, didn't seem to me as big a deal as it did to every fan who was like, please get this done. Why are you not as mad about this as we are?
Yeah, and the other part of that, Paul, was there was this perception growing that this negotiation was contentious. Now, it might have been between Stephen and Todd France at some point, but I think they both kind of came together and realized, okay, we got to get this done. And as I think I told you guys last week, the Cowboys knew they had to get it done for salary cap reasons, and by getting it done, they saved $15.5 million on the cap from what it would have been if he played on the franchise tag. And Dak needed to get it done because there was no reason to chance going into another season without any future security playing on a one-year deal. And I think those two forces brought this thing together, and it got done obviously with benefits to both parties.
Mickey, with the dust now settled and knowing the figures and things like that, hitting the reset button now on the Cowboys with this Dak thing behind them, kind of where are they, the lay of the land as far as, the salary cap, where they've got everything tied up, and I guess maneuverability if they need to moving forward?
Well, they won't have much maneuverability from a cap standpoint because they were down to less than $4 million on the cap before they signed Dak Prescott, and before they restructured those three contracts yesterday and cut Jameis Olawale. So that probably gets them, enough to the plus side of the salary cap that when it goes into effect March 17th, they will have room to absorb Dak's $22.2 million hit against the cap. But not much else. So, from my understanding, there's probably future restructures in play because, they still got to fund the draft, and that didn't get any easier, by the way, with the 4 compensatory picks. So now they got 10 picks. I doubt they use them all. They'll use those to kind of move around in the draft if they see a spot to move up to try to get somebody they want. They would like to re-sign some of their they had 17 unrestricted free agents. Now it's 16 with Dak signed. There's some of those guys they absolutely need back. So they're going to have to do a few other things short of, I don't see anybody getting released like these other teams are. Kansas City releasing their starting 2 offensive tackles to save about $30 million against the cap. I don't see that happening, but I do see them reworking some contracts to give signing bonus, to lower base salaries and cap hits for this. So they've got to do that, because look at it this way. Is Garrett Gilbert the backup quarterback? They would like to re-sign Andy Dalton. Now, he's not coming for a $900,000 base salary. And then what's the market value going to be on him? Some other team going to try to pry him away from here, kind of promising either a starting job or the opportunity to compete for a starting job and pay him enough money to uproot his family and leave. If that happens, I don't know that there's a veteran quarterback out there that, you're going to pay $3-4 million to be the backup. They need to address that backup swing offensive tackle position that they've been nibbling on. And I think this past season was a prime example that the nibbling's got to stop, that they need a guy there that has some talent, that's not old and on the end of his career. Now, my opinion on that is if one of those offensive tackles get hurt, then by golly, the next guy up at tackle is Zach Martin. And then you put Connor McGovern at his guard spot. But obviously they think, those guys will be back and healthy by restructuring their contracts. They wouldn't have done that if they thought those injuries that cut their season short last year would curtail their ability to play this year. So, we can just start right there. And not to mention that you like to go into a season with about a $5 to $8 million nest egg just to take care of the season cost, people going on injured reserve and having to bring in other guys or pay guys more and put them on the 53-man roster. So, there's still a lot of work to do.
Mickey, something you said there is kind of interesting. You said they're not going to release players, and they also have 17 unrestricted free agents. Part of that might be there might be some guys that normally you could say, well, we'll release them and see what happens. But if you're talking about filling out a roster up against the cap and you've already got guys under contract, maybe you just don't have the freedom to just be like, well, we'll see what happens on the back end.
Well, I think what's going to happen now that we know the cap's set at $182.5 million, and you see these guys getting released that might want to still play, well, there's probably not going to be a high market value out there this year, maybe next year. And so I think a lot of guys are going to sit there and go, you know what, I'm going to take a 1-year prove-it deal, and then I'll gamble again next year when the cap probably goes up after the TV contract gets done. You might be able to get a couple good players on a 1-year, close to minimum base salary that normally would be a starter somewhere. But they just got to take something to get through this season because there's not that many teams. I think there might be a half a dozen teams that are, okay against the cap that can go and spend money on free agent contracts. But as you're seeing, most of these teams, because of the salary cap going down for the first time since the 2011 season, and the only reason it went down that year was because of the late start after they finally negotiated a new CBA. This is unprecedented for the cap to go down this far. So teams are going to have to adjust because when you make base salaries in 4 or 5 year deals, you're basing those salaries on an increase in the cap from year to year to year to be able to absorb the base salaries going up from year to year. So that's not happening. So this is going to be unprecedented offseason for the NFL.
When you look at those who want to get the 1-year hit, go like Robert Quinn, others who have done that and then paid off elsewhere. Is Dallas one of the better destination points still because of the Cowboys and Jerry and he can pretty much sell anybody, or is that really just still up in the air with everybody a part of the NFL?
Well, I think for one fact in the Cowboys, plus side is the fact that you play for the Cowboys, you're going to get noticed. Now that could be good or bad, right? If you're betting on yourself, and you play well, that exposure is probably going to give you some market value going forward. But if you come here and flop, well, that's not going to help you out one bit at all. But I think if people look at this thing logically, and I know they finished 6-10, and I know the defense was just atrocious last year, but having Dak back and healthy, having Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, La'el Collins back and healthy, this offense that got off to a really good start last year should be pretty prominent. Now, can they fix the defense? And as I've told you guys, and I wrote a couple of weeks ago, the biggest fix that they're going to make on the defense is hiring Dan Quinn. And that's one reason why I asked the guys yesterday in the press conference why was it Dan Quinn and how much he can help. And Stephen Jones just came right out and said it may be our most important improvement we've made on will make on the defense this year. And I absolutely agree with him, because the personnel on that defense from 2019 to 2020 wasn't dramatically different for them to fall from the 9th ranked defense in the league and giving up just 20 points to like wherever they finished, 21st, 24th, 31st against the run, and giving up nearly 30 points a game. It just didn't make sense. So to me, Dan Quinn's going to be the X factor in where this team goes this coming season.
Thank you, Mickey. Appreciate it. The long drawn out. Thank you for your time. Mickey Spagnola, DallasCowboys.com. The drawn out. This has been a good week. Been a good week because March Madness is going forward. It was a year ago today when the NBA, when Rudy Gobert tested positive and the NBA shut down the next day, which was a Thursday, when Craig and Q were in Kansas City, and all of a sudden the tournament gets shut down after they had the play-in game. So we've gotten deeper than we did last year at this time.
I genuinely, because I think Rudy Gobert is probably a pretty good dude, but he is going to be forever remembered for that, and he's an excellent player. But two things happened in the immediate aftermath of that. They showed the video of him touching everybody's phones when he was clearly in hindsight, he did have coronavirus. Right. And then the story comes out of here's where the outbreak started in the city that they were just in. And all these people got it because Rudy Gobert was doing the right thing and taking a bunch of pictures with kids. Like all these people,
last night on ESPN, I think it was, Lisa Salters, it's called Man in the Middle. It was a documentary about a year ago with Rudy Gobert, and it was also where he came from, France, and how he developed into a player, and then eventually the story of a year ago, and also him being a hell of a player. He's a really, really good player. So that if you missed it, you can probably find that somewhere with Lisa Salters in a story. I had it going. I didn't get to catch all of it, but it was really neat. He seems to be a really good kid, young man as well. All right, let's see. 4:41 is the time. When we come back, 254-339-1122. Our 5 o'clock hour with interviews with Oral Roberts head coach and NCAA tournament-bound Paul Mills, the former Baylor assistant, and also Gary Franklin, former Baylor guard, will join us as well. An update in tennis from only as we can get from Scotty B. Baylor men's tennis claims the first set at numbers 3, 4, and 5 singles. Now needs to force a three-set match on courts that they have lost in the first set.
He's getting super particular. He was getting us down to the actual game.
Yeah, points and stuff. Scotty B, seriously, you are amazing and helps us with a lot of things. A lot of times you'll tweet something to us, include us. We appreciate that because you never know when we maybe don't know. And a lot of you have done that as well. We appreciate that. This is SicEm365 Radio.
The First National Bank of Central Texas, 5 locations right here at home: Waco, Woodway, Hewitt, China Spring, Martin, Hillsboro. Familiar faces making local decisions here to help you, your family, or your business. Whether it's great times or tough times, all of us need a bank we can count on. Great people with great technology dedicated to their customers and helping our area grow. Safe banking in person or use their online and mobile apps, and convenient drive-thrus and ATMs at all locations. They've got the First mobile app, so you can do your banking wherever you are. You can check your balances, make transfers, pay bills, and transfer funds. They also have First Deposit, and you can deposit your check using your smartphone camera and that app. Just snap a picture of the front and back of your check, choose your account, and go. So it's local. It's right here, and they know you. That's the benefit of the First National Bank of Central Texas. It's not some big bank whose offices are in a different city, and you call up and you're just a number to them. You are part of their family. You're part of the business for them. That's what they do. At the First National Bank of Central Texas, 5 locations right here at home.
Ram Truck Month means special pricing on new Ram trucks at Allen Samuels. The 3-Peat Motor Trend Truck of the Year, Ram 1500 Lone Star Crew Cab, has special values up to $7,250 or 0% for 72 months, plus $3,000 in combo cash. Visit the customer award-winning Allen Samuels, located at 201 West Loop 340 in Waco, for the 3-time Motor Trend Truck of the Year, Ram 1500 Lone Star Crew Cab. Ram Truck Month is going on now at Allen Samuels, your friend in the car business. See dealer for details. All offers have credit requirements.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jeweler, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs, too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
Born in Waco, Brotherwell Brewing exists to serve the Central Texas community with locally crafted beer of the highest quality. They want to bring Central Texas closer to the brewing experience so everyone can enjoy well-made beer as much as they do. For 2.5 years, they've been bringing high-quality beer to Central Texas at their location on Bridge Street in East Waco. Brotherwell Brewing believes in community and bringing people together to enjoy products made in their community. So for your game day, whether it's a tailgate or at home, stop by Brotherwell Brewing for high-quality craft beer made right here in Central Texas, 400 East Bridge Street, and check them out online at brotherwell.com.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
At Baylor University, students can shine in their own way. Or should we say their own ways? Because there's no limit to the ways Baylor students make the world a brighter place. Whether they're leading a student organization or following a higher calling, getting advice from faculty, or taking part in world-class research, pursuing their dreams, or working toward their dream job, students find their place to shine at Baylor, where lights shine bright.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be part of the Waco community. We're a small family business here in Central Texas. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important. And unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. And that's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through this difficult time. So if you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. You can schedule online in minutes at idealmri.com or call 833-IDEAL-MRI.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. It's time for our weekly segment with Jason King of SicEm365.
All right, we're back this 4 o'clock hour. Paul Mills, Gary Franklin next hour, but we go back to Kansas City. Baylor does what they have to do to beat Kansas State 74-68. We heard from Jared Butler, and now we hear from Jason King. He and Ashley Hodge are both in Kansas City on site. Jason, what was the mood, the post-game, your thoughts about what maybe was said after the win against K-State?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird up here, to be honest. I mean, like, there's people in the arena, but everyone's so spaced out. There's just not much energy. Some of the media are walking around wearing hazmat suits. It feels like it's just different than being in Texas. Seriously, man, it's like some of them are trying to talk to me, and they have so much stuff over their face. I can't even understand them. But I mean, I thought overall it was, there's reason for concern, but also, let's not panic. These things happen. You play a team that you beat by 48 points 5 or 6 weeks ago, and certainly maybe you're not as juiced up to play them, or maybe you don't take them quite as seriously. Not to mention, all of a sudden there's a little bit more pressure now. I mean, these guys have been waiting to play a tournament since they haven't played since 2019 in the postseason. Some never at all. So there's naturally going to be some nerves and some jitters, and I think we saw a little of that today. So I thought, Kansas State obviously had a good game plan and forced a lot of turnovers, but hopefully they got it out of their system, because tomorrow is going to be a whole different beast for Oklahoma State.
Yeah, Jason, with what Kansas State did, it's kind of also what Kansas did, and we've seen some teams do when they play that smaller lineup. There's a lot of backdoor cuts from the big guys. Do you think that's something to be concerned about down the stretch, because they are going to play that smaller lineup quite a bit?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of reason for concern there. I just think since the COVID pause, I mean, Baylor defensively has been average at best, and I think some of the biggest places they've been exposed is down in the paint on some of those backdoor cuts. All of a sudden you're looking at a guy like JTT to come through for you there defensively, and he's played 70 games in his entire life, and Losamba's limited in some of those areas. So that's an area that's concerning without question. And like I said, the competition's going to get so much better too that they're going to figure out a way to correct that in a hurry.
Jason, why do you think they didn't get much from the bench today?
Well, to me, that's the biggest storyline, and I think it's been a storyline not just today, but for for about 2 or 3, not 3 weeks, but since the COVID pause. I mean, Adam Flagler in his last 5 games is averaging 2.5 points. JTT, since coming back from the COVID pause, is averaging 2.5 points, 1.5 rebounds, and for much of the season, that was a big storyline surrounding Baylor, is their bench and how that bench gives them just that extra bit of juice or whatever that kind of made them one of the top teams in America, and all of a sudden it's kind of disappeared. Part of it, I think, is because those 3 guards are playing so well that, Flagler is not going to come in and just try to take over or anything, but clearly there's something going on there with their confidence. Meyer, once again, was very erratic and hard to even have in the game at times. That's 2 games in a row that's happened. So, I mean, for this to be a Final Four team, I mean, those guys are going to have to, regain that momentum and that energy and that swag that they had for so much of the season. And I think they will, because, they had some big time games against high level opponents. I mean, hell, it was just a week ago that Matthew Meyer was going off against West Virginia. So it's not like it's been forever since we've seen it. But Flagler, to me, is the one guy I really want to see, come through again, because, this is a guy that, remember when they played Illinois, the lift he gave them back then, and some of those big conference. I think at Texas Tech he was so good. They've got to get him, back to where he was. And I think JTT obviously, appears to have hit a little bit of a wall as well. If he could be dealing with some nerves and some confidence issues as this postseason starts, so they got to get him going too.
Yeah, you mentioned they have to clean it up before tomorrow night's a different animal.
Yeah,
that was a very impressive win. We know Oklahoma State. We just saw Baylor beat them on Thursday, and so that's kind of fresh on either team's mind. That ought to be one hell of a game tomorrow.
Yeah, these 2 teams, I feel like, and we talked about this, I think, yesterday when I was on. I mean, whenever they play each other, it's just a dogfight. I think they bring out the best in each other. I think there's a mutual respect, between both teams and the coaching staffs and everything. And obviously they've got, the top player in America, even though I don't think he deserves Player of the Year. I mean, he's the top player in America, and the clear-cut #1 draft pick. So it'll be a tough one. And also they have Isaac Likely back, who I think is one of the more underrated players, not just in the league, but in the country. I mean, this is the first time Baylor will have played them this year when Oklahoma State has both of its top 2 players. And now Avery Anderson's playing well for them, and the Boones are really good. So, I mean, if you're a Baylor fan and they lose this game tomorrow, I mean, it's not the end of the world. This is a very good team. And if they win, that's just a ton more momentum they'll have, going into Saturday and into the NCAA tournament.
Outside of Baylor, Jason, I'm curious in your thoughts on Duke and the way that they kind of raised the white flag completely. If this team was any good, do you think that Coach K would be saying those same things?
No, not at all. I mean, I hate part of me hates to comment on that too much because right when I was starting to kind of take a little shot or two on Twitter, someone said that they have a big campus-wide problem going on. So I don't understand the whole thing there, but all I know is I heard one player tested positive for COVID, and the team threw in the towel. I mean, that's almost as bad as Bobby Hurley and Jay Wright refusing to play Baylor because Scott Drew had it a week earlier. But yeah, but definitely if this was a high-level Duke team, I don't think they would have done that. I feel like Coach K all season didn't really feel. I mean, I feel like he kind of wanted to throw in the white tail all season, to tell you the truth. They just haven't been themselves, and he never seemed as engaged with this team in this season as he normally would have been. So, not really surprised, but disappointed. I hated to see it.
All right, Jason, thank you very much. Get back to work.
Yeah.
We didn't send you there and pay for your meals and barbecue without joining us.
Where's tonight? Where's the plan?
Oh, man, yeah. I think tonight I'll probably go to Joe's of Kansas City. Used to be called Oklahoma Joe's. I'll get the rib and one meat platter with pulled pork and fries, and maybe if I'm really feeling it, a little side of burnt ends. And then tomorrow before the game, I'll probably have to go to the Peanut and get some wings. That's what's one problem with Ashley Hodge, a great guy, but he's just not a food guy. I mean, he just wants he'd be content going to Yard House or some other random chain and getting chicken fingers every meal or something. It's last night I tried to set it up. I had it all worked out. We were going to go get wings at the Peanut, and I waited for him to get out of the arena, and he went across the street to some chain sports bar and probably had onion rings or something. So I'm giving up on trying to be a food tour guide for Ashley. I'm just going to have to just go where I want on my own because I don't think he cares about food, man. I don't know. So that's okay, Paul. Not everyone's like us, man. Not everyone appreciates Stroud and Willie Mays Scott.
The guy to my right, the only time I took him to what was then Oklahoma Joe's, almost had a meltdown because we had to wait in line for 22 minutes.
There's nothing worth that.
22 minutes? Yes, sir. You talking about
minutes.
David?
There was me.
I waited that long for Chili's.
Well, one of the things, we were on our way out of town. Mm-hmm. I don't remember what time of the day it was. I think it was somewhat middle afternoon or whatever. And honestly, I saw the line. I'm just impatient, period. And I saw that. In the end, I'm glad we stayed in line. I'm glad I finally decided to, but yeah.
Now I'm with you. There are a few things that are worth that kind of wait, but that place is one of them. And the other good thing about that place is they do a great job moving that line.
Yep.
And sometimes I always tell people when you walk up and you see the line, don't get intimidated. They move it fast.
Yeah.
And it's worth it. But I'm with you. I could not go to Austin and stand in line for 3.5 hours for Franklin or anything like that. That is too long to wait for anything, especially when there's so many other good options.
The good news about a line in front of a restaurant is that a lot of people must love the food, and that is a good thing. And sometimes it's just people who want to say they ate there, and that's just the tourism. Thank you, man. Have fun. Enjoy. We'll have you on tomorrow again if it's okay, a little bit early to talk about Oklahoma State. Jason King with us, our college basketball analyst when it comes to Baylor. Ashley, of course, is on site as well. And Baylor and Oklahoma State tomorrow at 5:30. The 5 o'clock hour. How about Oral Roberts? I did not realize this when we brought this up a couple of days ago. First time since 2008 they have been in the tournament. Abel Emmons was at Oral Roberts. They've got a little history in basketball. And then Gary Franklin, one of the good guys, and there's a lot of them. He said he came to Baylor so he could actually show his faith, that he could go, and he was at California. This is coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. And he had a ritual before a game to pray. And someone at Cal came up to him, which is kind of a liberal school, right, Berkeley? Mm-hmm. Came up to him and said, you can't do that here. You have to go to the locker room. You don't need to show that display.
There's no kind of liberal when talking about Cal Berkeley. They're the liberal school in America. So yeah, there's no kind of, but that's sad. And that's also not surprising in any way, shape, or form. So their loss was Baylor's gain, that's for sure.
Yep. One of the hardest I've ever laughed was I had a buddy who lived up there, and he sent me this Twitter, I don't know, it was an Instagram story or Twitter chain, and he said This is from one of his grad students that went to Cal. He's a professor. And he said, watch this. And she is in her house, and there is a nest, an absolute egg nest of black widow spiders. And she was trying to figure out how she could get these black widow spiders out of her house and safely into the wilderness where they can live happily.
I can give you a way. I can tell you how to get rid of the black widow spiders, but they wouldn't be safely.
So she's like...
It would be with a blowtorch.
She said, I know that you're supposed to kill these things, but I can't hurt another living thing. And all the comments were like, those living things want to hurt you. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. All right.
Ultimately, she had to leave her house, have a friend of hers come over, an exterminator, and do it. And she had to not be there for a day so she could come to the emotions of killing 100 spiders.
Wow.
I remember we had a wicker chair, and black widow spiders like wood, right? Mm-hmm. And we had a wicker chair in the back porch, and one day I was just kind of washing them off with a hose. And I remember turning one over, and thank goodness it was white. And I turned it over, and it was obviously, there's no mistake about a poisonous snake with the head, if I'm even close enough to notice that, and there's no mistake about what a black widow spider looks like. But the ones that get me are the ones you can't see, like a brown recluse, because they get in your clothing or your socks or your shoes or your socks or your shirts or whatever.
Yeah.
Remember that day I killed a tarantula?
Yeah.
You know, Armstrong, you ever seen a tarantula just accidentally walking around in Waco? I was walking up the stairwell. I was like, man, that looks weird. And initially I thought it might even be like a rodent. I walked to the car, came back, tiptoed around it, went and got the flashlight with my cigar torch lighter, and that was gross. I stepped on it, and it sounded like I stepped on a coconut. Thank God there weren't about 300 other ones in the middle of it was a mama. Yeah. And then I would have been,
there's a whole movie about that.
What?
Arachnophobia.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Jeff Daniels, yeah.
All right, when we come back, hope you'll enjoy Paul Mills, Oral Roberts coach, his thoughts about what the run they've made, and also his thoughts about how Scott Drew sent his team tons of motivational videos. He said he's almost more worried about what we were doing than what maybe they were getting prepared to do. And then Gary Franklin on many things, including that story I shared. This is SicEm365 Radio.
Do you or your kids get nervous about going to the dentist? Stonewood Dental, Dr. Steve Childress, he can help.
I've spent a career taking care of patients who as children had bad experiences, and now they're adults that hate going to the dentist. If I get a kid at 3 years old, and they come every 6 months, and it's a happy experience, it's normal for them. Now they have an accident at 6 or 7 or 8 at school. Now they have a broken tooth or a trauma, and they have to come here. They're used to lights, they're used to water in their mouth, they're used to experience, they already trust us. It's amazing what we can do with that kid without it being a negative thing. But if I see a 6 or 7 or 8 year old that's never been to the dentist, and now they have a trauma or an unfortunate unexpected toothache, it's harder to do that for that kid and it not be somewhat of a negative experience. So bottom line is I try to teach kids and adults and teenagers and everybody the way I'd want my family treated, which is where it's a necessary part of life. You just take care of it. It doesn't have to be that big a deal.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
After my first car accident, I feared the biggest damage would be to my wallet. I expected a mountain of bills and a long, drawn-out process. But my Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent was there when I needed her and helped me get back on my feet and in my car in no time. Instead of a hassle, I got reassurance and a quick recovery.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive at 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
It's time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, or get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. Order 30-pound sacks of live crawfish by 6 on Wednesday. Pick up on Friday afternoon after 2 or Saturday. Enjoy the weekend. 30-pound sacks of live crawfish available right now for $4.25 a pound. Find all the crawfish boil ingredients you need, including red beef potatoes, sausage, corn cobbettes, and Louisiana boil seasoning. Make your order for live crawfish by Wednesday at 6. Pick up on Friday after 2 or all day Saturday, and enjoy the weekend. Waco Custom Marketplace, your home for fresh baked kolache, cinnamon rolls every day. Butcher shop to cut your steaks the way you want. Fresh seafood, summer sausage, boudin, house cured and smoked bacon, spices, seasonings, soup mixes, and more, and weekly gift boxes for any occasion. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
Meyer grazed the sword from the corner. That was vital, keeping it alive.
Again, are you serious?
Takes advantage.
Come on, he's my Mr. Glue guy.
The 5 o'clock hour is brought to you by Edward Jones and financial advisor Cam Heathcott. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
Now here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
Head basketball coach Paul Mills. How about this? Twice in a week. Last week when we spoke, Paul, you kind of had, a feel that who knows? And wow, you beat North Dakota State, win the Summit League. You're headed to the dance first time for Oral Roberts in since 2008. What has it been like?
Well, winning is fun. I think most coaches probably hate losing more than they like winning. Because the reality is when you go into a game, you're prepared and you feel like you should win. And so not winning it keeps coaches up. Those are long nights. But to win a tournament championship when you're in a conference that, there aren't going to be an at-large bid, and this comes down to you being good at your tournament. And we because of COVID, we were unable to play one conference game that if we would have been able to play, we'd have probably been the 2 seed instead of the 4 seed. And so we felt like, listen, there's nobody in this league who has beaten us twice. I mean, and so you felt really good because you've either swept everybody or you split with everybody. And so you felt good going into the tournament, and then to play 3 games in 3 days was able to go back to my Baylor days. I mean, the times that we played for championships in the Big 12 Conference, twice we had 4 games in 4 days, and once we did 3 games in 3 days. And so you just knew the preparation and all that was involved. And this year we've already played back-to-back. So to play a 3rd game, we were kind of going on adrenaline, ran out of a little gas there in the second half to make it interesting, but we were fortunate to cut down nets.
No kidding. It did get a little bit intense. In fact, you guys, they tied you at one point, but you made the plays when you had to. You've got players in O'Banner and Asmus, guys that are dynamic. They're not the only ones. You guys, your team, Paul, I think in this day and age where the conferences, the mid-majors, whatever you want to call them, you could be dangerous. Do you feel like you guys can do some damage?
Well, I tell you what, this team, the best free throw shooting percentage ever was the 1983-84 Harvard team. And the thing about free throws is if you go back the last 100 years, and the rim's 10 foot high, the free throw line's 15 foot back, the ball is 8-ounce rubber ball. And that one's been pretty consistent. We are currently at 82.6.
Wow.
So right now we're breaking the all-time college record. And we're the 6th best three-point shooting team in the country. Baylor's 1, and then we're 6th. And so I have a lot of guys who can shoot the basketball. And I think anytime you can put 5 players out there who are always a threat to shoot. Obviously, we have a dynamic scorer in Max A-Smith, who currently leads the country. And then he and Kevin O'Banner, and Kevin at 6'8" shoots 50% from the three-point line. They are the best duo in regards to scoring in the country. But we can put other shooters out there and kind of keep the floor spread. We make more three-pointers than anybody else in college basketball, a little north of 11 a game. And so, can you make shots? Can you defend the three-point line as well? We'll see as we head into the NCAA tournament.
What's it like to be a part of a conference? I'm an SFA grad, and SFA with Brad Underwood, Kyle Keller, of course, they can't make it this year, but, they have to win the Southland Conference. There's many conferences where you have to win it. You just have to win it, or you're probably not going to go. Can you try to describe the edge, the razor edge that you have to have as a focus to be able to get through all that?
Yeah, I think most of these games, as you're going to see, even in the Big 12 tournament today, a lot of these games are going to be 1 and 2 possessions. And so I think in March, you can pretty much eliminate easy baskets. I mean, you see more easy baskets in November and December, but I just think the execution level is so high. The urgency is so high, and all of those things play such a big part. And so to be able to do it and to we talk about March basketball way back in November, and this is how you win games in March. And so to watch all of that come to fruition, but the reality is these are 1 and 2 possession games, and these are plays that you need to be able to execute and do the right thing. And so for the most part, these are things that have been talked about. We just need to go out there and do it. And again, it's not going to be perfect, but I think you're just trying to develop a mindset of your guys pretty much the whole year of what it takes to win in March. And again, we were fortunate to do that on Tuesday night.
How much did your phone blow up after that game?
You know what? You get a lot of congratulatory texts and phone calls, and you're grateful for them. We had a 10-hour bus ride back yesterday. South Dakota isn't like right down the street or anything, and so it was good because the 10 hours allowed me to respond to all of the text messages. I don't know if I'd have been able to otherwise, but when you're on a bus and you're just sitting there, you have time. And so, those things, I don't look at them as a burden. You're grateful for the opportunity to win a game, and you're like a proud parent. I mean, parents have experiences, and I've been fortunate to do more than nearly 20 NCAA tournament games. You're so happy that your players get to experience this. Our staff has done more than 100, and so we've been around the block and done these things, but you want your players, and I'm so happy for them that they get this experience of March Madness.
My last thing, Paul Mills, head coach of Oral Roberts, they're headed to the NCAA tournament. They'll find out their opponent sometime in the middle of the afternoon, around 5 o'clock or so on Sunday. What is it like around the campus, or is it spring break? I don't know if it is. What about, just what does this mean to Oral Roberts and to you in you doing this, what is this, year 4? And to get them to the tournament for the first time in 13 or 14 years? Well,
no spring break. COVID has basically eliminated spring break for a lot of schools. And so yesterday, our guys have never had a police escort. And so you get back in Tulsa, you have a police escort. They escort you back to the gym, and there's hundreds of people sitting there waiting on you just to see your bus. And so for your guys to walk off with a trophy and the big cardboard cutout of Ticket Punched, and those guys, I mean, it's something that they're going to remember for the rest of their life. When I took this job 4 years ago, I took it May 1st, so I took it after the signing period, and so we couldn't sign anybody. We basically had to take the team that was given us. But in this, you have to qualify. You have to be in the top 8 to qualify for the conference tournament. And unfortunately, ORU didn't. And so to go from a situation where 4 years ago you weren't even qualifying for the tournament to now you're going to represent the conference, it's a tribute to the investment of the people here. It's a tribute to the players here. And I can't say it enough. I'm so happy that our guys get this experience because it's something that they'll remember for the rest of their lives.
Paul, congratulations, man. We're thrilled for you. I know everyone that knows what you did with Baylor is thrilled for you, and I know Oral Roberts is thrilled.
Those Baylor guys were nice enough to send out a congratulatory text to Coach Patterson and I. Coach Patterson was at Baylor for 13 years, and I brought him with me here to Tulsa. And for those guys to publicly recognize us, obviously Scott sent us about 15 motivational videos before the game to make sure we were on point. I think he was more worried about us than at that time than since he had already captured a championship. But I greatly appreciate the congratulations, Smokey, and the visit here.
Hey, man. Paul Mills, head coach at Oral Roberts, headed to the dance, SicEm365 Radio.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible and rewarding challenge. Hi, everyone. This is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like mortgage lending, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Cam Heathcott, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs. Knowing you, that's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Cam Heathcott, covering Conroe and Houston, 936-756-7717 or cam.heathcott@edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
With more than 160,000 alumni worldwide and counting, the Baylor family is growing. And through the university's expanded Baylor alumni program, the family is growing closer. With hundreds of local volunteers planning events in cities and towns around the country, you can gather with fellow Bears no matter where you are. So, get connected, get something started, get involved, and make plans to get together with Baylor alumni. Visit us at baylor.edu/alumni.
At Marco's Pizza, get craveable pizza made the Italian way with dough made from scratch, an original sauce recipe, 3 fresh signature cheeses, and premium toppings you love, served hot and safe. Right now, you can get unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. Why stop at just one? Order with your app or at marcos.com for curbside, carryout, or delivery today. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trusted doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
During the President's Day event, Allen Samuels has special pricing on a new 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited with values up to $3,250 or 0% for 72 months, plus $1,000 in combo cash. Or a 2021 Jeep Cherokee. The new Latitude Plus has up to $6,000 in total values or 0% interest for 72 months and $1,250 in combo cash. Allen Samuels award-winning customer service. The best place to find your next SUV. Located at 201 West Loop 340. Allen Samuels is your friend in the car business.
See dealer for details. All offers have credit requirements. Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
Have you downloaded the SicEm365 Radio app? Do it today on the App Store and Google Play. The SicEm365 Radio app is sponsored by Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Waco. Your friend in the car business at Loop 340 and east of 84. Come by. Let's be friends.
Former Baylor guard Gary Franklin, a very popular player, a young man that obviously had a very nice run at Baylor, and so did Baylor with Gary on the roster. Former Maitre D' star from L.A., Anaheim, California area. And good to have you, man. What's it like? You're home. You've been home for a while. California is home for you. That's where you started your college career. How you been?
Yeah, man, I've been great. I've been even better watching the boys represent Baylor really well. So I'm happy about that. It gives me bragging rights. Usually during this time, I would be in the gym somewhere hooping against, former college players or guys that are looking to continue to play overseas. And, I would be having a lot of bragging rights right now, but I can't talk mess to anyone because we can't get in any gyms.
I can imagine what you're still having to deal with in California. You were on some really good teams, Gary, when you were at Baylor, and obviously your last year you made the run all the way back near your hometown in Anaheim and lost to Wisconsin in the third round. When you watched this team, what they did last year and then it was shut down, and then what they followed up with doing this year, and the resiliency of getting through that pause early, about 2-3 weeks ago, what do you see?
Oh, man, I see a lot of resilience, and this is a team who I think deserves to win it all. I think last year they could have won it all, and being able to bring the guys back, like Jared Butler, Maceo T. We all know guards in college, they win games, and so having those two back, along with Mark and the rest of the crew, I think they have a really good chance of winning the championship this year.
I've asked every former player, and we've had a bunch on the show in the last, 2 or 3 months or so, maybe longer, about how this table was set, how the buffet was put on the table, whether it was back in the days when Scott Drew arrived, when they didn't even get a chance to play non-conference games the first year and they had guys off, walk-on players, to then the stretch of when they started getting, the Tweety Carters and the great names that came along, Epe Udo, and then the teams that you were on with Isaiah Austin, Taurean Prince, Royce O'Neal, Heslip, and you go on and on. I mean, Rico, Ish, Motley, Cherry, that was a loaded team. Do you feel a sense that you all were a part of setting the tone, the standard for where they are today, and if yes, why?
I say yes only because I felt the same when I was being recruited by Baylor in high school. And I saw Tweety, Lace Dunn, and Henry, and CJ, just those guys being able to just run around and play and, get buckets, play defense. It made me excited as a guard to, give Baylor a really good look. They're in my top two. Obviously, I went to Berkeley first and then ended up transferring to Baylor anyways. And so I think, seeing guys do things before you and them having success, obviously the year before I got there, I think they made it to the Elite Eight. Seeing the run that they had, seeing how Coach Drew allowed the guards to just, kind of play their game got me excited. And so I'm sure the guys that are there now saw the guys before them, myself, Pierre, Brady, Kenny, a long list of guys who played, the guard position along with Royce and TP and all the guys that you're naming kind of just play their game and have fun. And I think, that contributes to helping recruit. And, obviously the coaches then put all the talent together and get the guys to buy into team chemistry, and that allows them to advance and play the way that they've been playing. So, I think we contributed in that way. And other than that, I think, the boys and obviously God and the coaches get all the glory from that point on.
You were a transfer from Cal. You have Butler from Alabama, Davion from Auburn, obviously even Flagler from Presbyterian, and there's others, obviously. And it's an interesting mixture. And you had the same thing with Torian, Royce. Kenny was a JUCO guy. You guys had that mixture as well. What is it about Baylor that allows that to happen so well? That the chemistry seems to always, not always, but pretty much fits?
Well, I think, I think really the one entity is Baylor being a Baptist school. It allows for other guys who have a relationship with our Lord. I don't know if you will, but it breaks down a barrier. Most guys, we're not taught to, be vulnerable in the locker room. We're not taught to talk about our real problems that are going on, because men are supposed to be tough, right? We're not supposed to be, vulnerable or cry or showing these signs of what they would call weakness. But when you have a relationship with God, you get closer to your teammates because we see each other as human beings. And so I've, been in the locker room with guys, and we cry talking about our stories, or in the car, or in our respective dorms, or places where we live. And I think that barrier and that entity with God allows us to come together closer, and it allows for better chemistry on the court. Whereas if you're going to other schools who may not, incorporate God in our daily, we can only get so close. So I think that thing there is what really allows players to get closer off the court. And then on the court, all you want to do is win for each other, because not only am I playing for the teammate next to me, but I'm playing for and being the brothers in Christ, and then also being brothers, as guys that want to see each other do well. I think that's the entity that allows us to get closer.
Yeah, in this day and age, sometimes it seems like you're just not allowed to say anything, and I'm not trying to get political, but there are some people that get uncomfortable when you start talking religion, right?
Right, yeah. No, absolutely. And again, that I haven't really ran into that problem at Baylor. I mean, I was being at Berkeley, and I would pray on the bench before a game. It was my ritual, and the coaches pulled me in the locker room, and they told me, like, hey, you can't really do that. And I never understood why. And then when I got to Baylor, you can pray wherever you want. And I thought that was very comforting, and it just allowed me to be more of who I was and who I am.
Let me ask you a question about the game in Stillwater your senior year. Kenny Cherry, I think the last second couldn't play, and you came in and played lights out. They were top 10 in the country at Stillwater. You guys, of course, were struggling, 2-8 in the conference at one point, finished making a run all the way into the third round. But do you remember that night and what it was like for you to have that night that kind of allowed, not that you didn't have other moments as well, but that Gary Franklin was on display?
Honestly, being completely transparent, it was a bit bittersweet for me because I originally transferred to play the point. Wasn't given much opportunity just because of how great the team was playing, and I get that. I'm a coach's son, and I'm also a basketball mind, so I understand if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so that night, being able to go in and finally play the position that I wanted to play, for me, it was something that I had done all throughout high school. Played, 3 years in high school. The first year I was hurt. Played 3 years in high school and went 98-5 playing point. And so that's pretty much all I knew how to really play. I had to really, really try to adjust my game when I transferred to Baylor, playing solely off the ball. And so that night was very huge for me because it confirmed in me what I knew all along, is that I could play solely on the ball. And then also we were able to get a huge win. And for my team, obviously that's the biggest thing, right? I wanted my team to be able to win that game. And I know it gave us a really big stride towards the NCAA tournament. And so it was really great. And then my best friend across the country hit a game-winning shot against Arizona. So we're both trending on Twitter. So, we called each other that day and was like, man, this is pretty awesome.
That's awesome. That's a great story. And you left California, like you said, for a reason. What you wanted to be able to do at Baylor for many things, not only your beliefs, but also play. There was something that was back in the summer of 2012, and you used a tweet, and you had the word cold, or the phrase cold-blooded. Was there a chance that when you arrived at Baylor, it wasn't what you thought? And was there a time there when you thought about leaving again?
I never thought about leaving again, or transferring again. And cold-blooded, I don't even know I would need context, because I know guys were in the gym, we're playing, and I may have been. I really can't tell you exactly what happened, but I do. Yeah, when I originally got to Baylor, I basically thought I was to get the opportunity to run the point, and I think because Pierre is very definitely he's very much so a when the lights come on I perform type of player. So in the midst of preparing for the upcoming season, and Perry and I both having to sit out, I think 13 to 14, maybe I think even 17 games. It was said that I would be able to come in and play the point, and I think that's originally why Pierre wasn't starting. I don't know if you remember that year.
Yep.
AJ, and then they started starting Pierre at halftime. Because they still didn't want anyone getting comfortable with the starting position, because I think they had me in mind. And then Pierre went from starting at halftime to finally, starting. And again, Pierre, man, amazing player, my roommate at the time, and so he was playing well and performing well. And again, I'm a winner first, so I understand if it isn't broke, don't fix it. If I had to do it all over again, I would have probably waited and not played the Elite 8 year, just to give myself another year. And I actually had another year to play when I didn't even realize that it was too late. I had signed an agent and started to put my name out there for pro hoops. But or I would have just come straight to Baylor out of high school. But it's all hindsight. I still enjoyed the fact that we were able to make the runs that we made, even the NIT run. I've never played in Madison Square Garden before. I'll never forget that experience, and it always feels good winning your last game of the season, and that is the one time in college we were able to do it. And only two teams get to do that, the national champion of the NCAA tournament and then the NIT champion. So it felt good.
There was a book called Playing Their Hearts Out. It was about AAU hoops in L.A., and I'm sure you remember it. Your father was a coach, was brought up, you were brought up, and you guys were put up as very positive figures in that scene. What it was hard. I'm sure it's dog eat dog, whatever, but that book came out. But you and your father were both, in the book, you could tell how real both of you are. What did that mean to you?
It was well, that experience was pretty eye-opening. It led my dad and I were we were just a son and his kid wanting to play basketball, right? So he wanted to coach me, so he coached me. Then we have this team who was really, really good, and this is the team that I ended up playing for after after a couple of years. But we basically played against this team that was, highly ranked all year, and we always were the team that were able to compete with them, or they were blowing every other team out by, 50 to 100 points. We got close a few times, and then we finally beat them. And my dad and I have always gone through this roller coaster where, because he's coaching me, he never wanted to make parents or family or parents or players feel as if he's showing any type of favoritism. So I'd always had to work harder and be not even the top 5. I have to be a top 2, top 3 player on the team, because if it's close, he doesn't want it to seem like there's any favoritism. So after me having my own success in his program and parents, kind of complaining and, I want my son to do this and do that at a young age, parents are wanting kids to be treated like, professionals, which is, it's even crazier now with social media. But so eventually my dad said, you're good enough to go play for that team that's, kicking everybody's tail. So, I went and played for that team, and very eye-opening being on that team, because for the first time we saw how big the shoe companies were in influencing kids and where they play, at least on the AAU level, because most kids come from nothing in the urban areas, and so being able to have new shoes and new gear, it's huge for us. So seeing then kids being taken advantage of, my dad went from, I'm gonna just let my son play for a program because I know he's good enough to succeed, to no, I'm gonna start my own program because I want it to be done right, and I want these kids to be taken care of, and I want education to be at the forefront. Of course, they're athletes, but he started his Cal Supreme program because he wanted to make sure no kids were done how the main person of the story, Demetrius Walker, was done. And so
right.
It did come from a very real place, and we've always had a relationship with God. So doing the right thing is always, part of what our family tries to do. So, yeah.
All right, Gary, again, you had a really nice run on some teams with names around you. You think about where some of these guys are, and how some of them are playing internationally, or some of them played it. Rico was with the Cowboys, and of course we know what Torian and Royce and others are doing. Yeah. Mott, Corey. What are you doing now? Give everybody an update about. I know you're back in the LA area, but what are you doing?
Oh man, I'm doing it all. So what you call an entrepreneur. I started a clothing line. I'm also starting a media company that's going to be producing film and music. I'm also still I'm actually trying to play again. I've been working out harder than I have in a long time. So I'm getting back in shape. And I'm seeing what I could possibly do. I have a couple of friends who have connections in Puerto Rico and some in China. So I'm really trying to see what I can do. Brady could probably, just like a lot of the shooters in the world, when you can shoot, you can play for a long time. Before COVID, I went and played in the Drew, and to be honest, I wasn't in the best of shape, but I was a top 5 MVP candidate, and there's a lot of NBA players that come and play in that. So it gave me more confidence to say, why not play until the wheels fall off? So, I'm doing my things on the side because I'm passionate about those, and I know that, I'll be able to make, clothes and produce film and music, for the rest of my life. But basketball, won't be able to play at least at a high level for the rest of my life. So I'm going to try and give it one more go and, see what happens.
Gary, thank you, man. You were always a great interview, always someone you could go to. And thanks for your time.
Oh, no, not at all. Not a problem at all, Dave. I appreciate you reaching out. I love doing interviews with you, and good luck to the Baylor boys as well. And the Baylor girls as well. So
absolutely. Gary Franklin, one of the good ones, no question about it, among many that have played for Baylor on SicEm365 Radio.
1, 2.
I'm in love with a man named Rudy. I'm okay with that. He knows exactly what I want. He keeps me coming back. Cooks breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me. Does the dishes too. I'm in love with a man named Rudy, last name Barbecue. It sure is easy to fall in love with Rudy's tasty oak smoked barbecue.
Next in line. Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
It's for qualified buyer with 4,000 DTL. Extra dealer details. The 22-year anniversary sales event is going on now at Richard Carr. Make your refund or stimulus even bigger when you add savings like a 2019 Buick Encore for only $169 a month, a 2018 GMC Terrain for only $208 a month, a 2018 GMC Sierra for only $374 a month. 100% credit approval is always our goal. Get here now and save during the anniversary sales event going on now at Richard Carr.
At Richard Carr, we give you more.
You want to know why Stonewood Dental is so successful? Listen to what happy customers have to say.
It's pleasant. It's different than any other dentist office. I really feel like they care. And it's not that you're here for 2 hours waiting on someone to take care of you. It's quick and easy, and I bring my kids, and my kids love being here too. They really love the treasure box. Staff is really nice and accommodating, real friendly. You feel more like home. It's not sterile looking. Everybody has their own personalized rooms with decorations and decor, and they'll even have a blanket for you when it's cold. I've recommended people to actually come here, and they are patients now. I really love it here. It feels like family.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
Learning to navigate life in the COVID-19 world has been a struggle, and where and how to get tested has been one of the biggest challenges. Impact Health Labs has your answer. If you need mass testing for your office, church, dormitory, or school, Impact Health Labs is who to call. They will come to you, conduct the testing at your location, and have the test back within 24 hours. Most major insurance accepted, meaning your out-of-pocket cost is low. So no more waiting by the phone for days to find out the results. Impact Health Labs was founded by 3 Army licensed and credentialed medical professionals. They believe in accuracy, efficiency, and doing the job right. Call 254-744-6233 to set up your group screening today. Impact Health Labs, on-site, prompt, and accurate, taking COVID-19 head-on. Again, that number is 254-744-6233 or online at impacthealthlabs.com.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. It's the 22nd year anniversary sales event going on now at Richard Carr.
All right, here we go. 5:39. Craig Smoak is with us on Skype again today. Closer and closer to returning to this beautiful studio at 101 Elm Avenue and Martin Luther King. And Paul Catalina in studio with me behind here, this beautiful set. And I'm David Smoak, and Armstrong Sims runs the mothership. Now, Baylor wins 74-68. They move into the next round. KU and Oklahoma have just tipped. They're about 4 minutes into the game. And that's going to be, I think these last 2 games will be very entertaining. And so far, the first 2 have been. Mm-hmm. Kansas State kept that thing close enough to where you had to keep your interest in. And now Kansas and Oklahoma, Kansas playing without a couple of their guys.
And Kansas, well, I mean, one of the guys wasn't going to play all that much anyway, but David McCormick has been the reason for their uptick. When he started playing better, they started playing better. And so not having him, and hopefully for Kansas' sake, he'll be back when the tournament begins, but it's still,
we know where you were, Craig, on this day a year ago when Rudy Gobert, the news comes out that he had tested positive. We know where we were. Armstrong, where were you?
Oh, I was...
Class, were you in Birmingham?
So I was living in Birmingham, but I was actually in Nashville at the time with my roommates on spring break with my college roommates. And we were in Hattie B's, which is like a famous...
hot chicken, right?
Yeah, and then we saw it on the TV. And then the next day we went hiking in the Smokies, and then we got the email that Baylor had canceled all their... or had, delayed spring break return. So
well, the Big 12 had their play-in games that Wednesday night. They were about to start. Guys were on the court. Teams were on the court for the next game. Craig, of course, he's told this story before. Has it felt like a year? To me, it's felt like 5.
Yeah, I mean, there's. I want to make mention. There's a far more interesting, but there's an interesting story going on with Kansas football. They've named their interim head coach, so that's come down here in the last few minutes. But yeah, it's felt like a year, and then again, it hasn't. I don't know. Time's just weird as you get older. Like it seems like it's going by slowly, and really it's just like at a breakneck speed. So yes and no, it's felt like a year. I mean, there's a lot that's gone on over the last 12 months. So yeah, I guess it does, but still kind of weird to come up on the anniversary of it, and just glad that, the few days that followed the return trip, like the 2 days that followed, the whole world, not only turned on its head, but job, was suddenly not there, and just about to go into lockdown, and like so many different moving parts, and, came on the other side of it much better, in a better place, better job, better everything around. So, it's been quite the year, but I think we all made out, or hopefully most people made out better on the other side of it.
I keep hoping that we learn, like from this year, and like there are things that we have been doing and doing well that we can keep doing and not have to worry about. Like,
what?
Like if you don't have to, be in an office 8 hours a day. You can work from home. You can be flexible. And I think that flexible work hours make people happy. I think one of the things that happens in life is like, people have these, you have to be here and you have to be here. And we're not, most people don't work in factories where you're just on an assembly line. Like with the digital age, you can do a lot of things, a lot quicker now.
You say work hours, you're talking about being in the office.
Yeah.
But you still have to be productive.
But like you have to be productive. But I have just seen so much grief over the years, and all my like, oh my gosh, I have to take my kid to the dentist today. Now I have to like move so many things around. Well, who cares? Like just take him to the dentist.
Yeah, but how many people now have gotten too used to this?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think, I mean, there's going to be a minority of the population who takes advantage of everything, who do that. But I think for the most part, people, and look, people, I want to be in an office, I want to be, out and about and all those things. But I do think that there was like all this unnecessary pressure on the world to do things a way that we've done them for a long time that was unnecessary.
Armstrong, has it changed your outlook on anything other than obviously the safety and health of whoever?
The past year?
Yeah, I mean, has it changed anything about how you looked at something? You know what it did to me? I'll tell you what it did. It allowed me not to take certain things like for granted, like watching sports. For a long time, we opened up this show April the 6th with nothing going on, and we made it to where now we had a game today. It's a year later, but, it's being in the office is now not as important, and in fact, sometimes it might save from being facing the drama, some of the everyday just politics and some of the crap you deal with.
Yeah, I think it's just
I'm with Paul. Like, I think some of the office hour stuff is just, that's the way that we've always done it. And so it's like, you're just supposed to sit here because you're supposed to. And like, there's a lot of other things that you could still be doing simultaneously. So I think we've learned that we can be a little bit more free with like like you saying, well, what if you don't get your job? Well, if you don't get your job done, you don't get your job done regardless if you're in the office or not, and you're gone. Mm-hmm. Like, so it doesn't really matter if it's in the office or not. You still have to do the job. So I don't think that really has an impact. So yeah, I mean, I think, just food deliveries changed. Like, I don't have to go into the grocery store to get my groceries anymore if I don't want to. And I think that's something that is really beneficial for people who are maybe, dealing with something that's handicapping them, or, older people or whatever. There's just a lot of ways we figured out we can still get the things that we need and do things. We just don't have to do them the same way we've always done them. And I think that that's been a learning experience for a lot of people. All the ways that businesses have had to figure out how to continue to operate without having the normal operations. And some haven't been able to do it, unfortunately. But a lot of businesses have learned, like, hey, I can actually do it this way and be totally fine. And actually, this could even be better than what I was doing previously. So I think there's been a lot of innovation and just adaptation that has been healthy for, the work environment and for businesses out there. And I know there's been downsides to it as well, but I think there's probably been more positive than the negative has come out of it. I think we found out how resilient we can be.
Armstrong?
Well, I just think there's a lot of little things that you never thought about. Like, for instance, a Coke machine in a restaurant. Like, you drink your cup and you put your lips on it, and then you take that part that you just put your lips on and press it against, to get the Coke to come out or the drink to come out. Just random stuff like that I never thought about. And now I'm like, yeah, it's kind of gross. Like, it's kind of gross that we do that. So just a bunch of like little things, and you never think about, like, I never once thought, for the Oklahoma what am I struggling with this? Baylor versus Oklahoma game last year, right? And I was in the student section for the football game, and it was just packed. So many people around me. And it's like, now, like, the thought of that is unimaginable, of just like not even having a seat because of you're just touching like 10 people, right? But I mean, it's just crazy.
I tell you, when I knew that that you could always rely on people being innovative or whatever, I'll never forget this. I was taking I was driving down Valley Mills. You know, people in businesses that were drive-throughs, they remain drive-throughs. Mm-hmm. They just, maybe if you could go indoors, that was pretty much cordoned off, or you couldn't do that, whether it's a place that does burgers or has all sorts of fast food, or something that might even do pizza and or chicken or tacos. I'll never forget this. I don't think this was too deep into it, but a lot of the restaurants that were not fast food restaurants, that were not set up for being outside for a drive-through, 2 places. Fuddruckers put a couple of tents out in front of their restaurant, and they could still cook their food and give people what they wanted by orders. Mm-hmm. They were not a drive-through. I just happened to be Fuddruckers, and they give us certificates to give away on the show. And Waco Custom Marketplace is a walk into the hometown grocery store place. They turned their back garage, opened it up, and turned it into a drive-through.
Oh, if he wanted to do that at any time and make that like a permanent feature, they could do it.
Yeah, they could.
Because it was great, especially at the time when they were having shortages.
Yeah, there was enough room around the what would be, I guess, the east side of their building where you could drive cars, trucks, whatever around there. And you got there, they wrote it down, they went inside, they met them on. People became innovative to overcome not being able to do anything. They weren't crippled by it. They lost, I'm sure everybody lost money along the way. But I just thought it seems to me a year ago, next week at this time, we were all, our worlds changed because we were all of a sudden told we were no longer wanted or needed or both. And it was something that initially you're like, oh my God, we're in a pandemic. And it turned out to be one of the greatest days that could have ever happened. Yeah. For many ways that we didn't, and you and Craig were both, hell, you were relieved, but still it's not good when you're told you no longer can work somewhere. And then look, it wasn't like a day or two later when we had people contacting us from everywhere.
Yeah. You know what I hope that we've learned in a year is, okay, what did we do wrong? What needs to be changed? Like, so in the sports world, what needs to be changed in college athletics so that you don't, you can protect against anything like this happening again? And hopefully it doesn't happen for another 100 years, but you never know. And what are we doing? Like, what got us to this point government-wise? What did we do wrong that this had to be a year-long shutdown that we can avoid in the future no matter what comes at us? Like, what do we have to fix? Let's look at that and forget about who's right and who's wrong, like who has to have the right answer to win, and just what the right answer is.
We're not capable of that anymore, Paul.
I know.
We're not capable of that.
What's the right answer? And let's just do that. Why did our electrical grid fail? Oh, it's not winterized. Well, let's winterize the thing and let's move on. It doesn't matter who's right and who's wrong. Winterize the grid. Why did we not have, enough, measures in place to have safe social distancing right off the bat? Well, the government was cut back so far that nobody was working there. Let's hire people to do that job and take it away from something that's meaningless. That's just me. But let's learn that in a year. The NCAA's had a whole year of Zoom meetings to figure out everything they need to fix going forward, and I promise you they haven't. They could have a plan for everything.
Who was it recently? Craig brought this up on the show. Craig, who did you bring up? It was the Oprah interview with the 2 people out of England. Meghan and whatever his name is.
Prince Harry.
Okay, so you're the one that brought this up, that how many shows or jobs were put on hold, furloughed, or lost that worked a part of CBS. And yet then they would put $7 million down to see something that might not even been true. It was one of those one-on-ones like Barbara Walters used to do. Oprah's one of the go-tos. But so did we learn our lesson then? No, I mean, people lost jobs at CBS, I'm sure, right? Like millions.
Well,
go ahead. I see what you're saying. It's kind of like, I don't know. I don't think that's a perfect comparison because celebrity's celebrity, and they're or always going to be networks that pay for. I mean, not like we're talking about some exclusive interview with like The Weeknd or Pink or like Britney Spears or something. Although Britney would probably get a lot of viewers, but we're talking about like royal family, and you may not understand why there's appeal there or why people have interest, but clearly they do, and clearly there's enough interest there to pay millions of dollars for an interview. Does Dak deserve $40 million a year to play a sport? No, but that's what the market says.
No, yeah. So
do the royal family deserve $7 million when they already have millions of dollars to do a stupid TV interview? No, but that's what the market says. So that is what it is. I do think that for the most part, this country has kind of looked behind the veil of celebrity and kind of realized it's not all hot S like we always thought. You know, like I don't think I think celebrities still have influence, but I think some of that's been weakened because you saw over the last year the haves and the have-nots, and there's a very exclusive group of haves, and the rest of us are the have-nots. So I think that maybe we've opened our eyes to the sort of gap that there truly is, and it's not one between necessarily races or genders, although there are issues there. It's mostly to the rich and then everybody else, the regular normal people. Like I think that's been something that's been exposed more so than maybe it has been in the past over the last year.
Yeah, all right, Armstrong and I were actually talking about celebrity earlier today before the show, and that like, you know, like all the things that have gone on, we find it funny that like somebody would be like, man, I really like this actor in this movie. I wonder what he thinks about tax cuts. Like, what do you care? Like, just watch him fight terrorists in a fictional movie and move on.
But if he's from Hollywood, they have an opinion usually on things like that.
I know, but
Armstrong, do you have the golf video? Are we allowed to play that? Can we run Byung Yun, whatever his name is?
I think we can. It's on YouTube, right?
Hold on. Yeah, give me a second.
All right, so golf is hard, right? Mm-hmm. Golf is very, very hard. We'll have Paul's 5 at 5:55. We almost replaced that yesterday. It was one of the most entertaining, exciting feedback segments we've ever had on the guy who buried himself alive, Paul, for 48 hours. Had 2 pipes coming out of the ground that looked like barbecue pit pipes. Mm-hmm. 48 hours underground, under gravel, under dirt, in a coffin for 48 hours, buried.
For how much money?
He raised $200,000 for somebody else.
Oh, cool. That's not
enough.
Are you serious?
What do you mean? It's good that he did it for somebody else.
Could you do that?
Altruistic?
48 hours.
No, I can do it for 48 minutes. No.
Could you do it for 4.5 minutes?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know if I could. I would be beating on that door. But the problem is the more you get nervous and get angry or you get frustrated, the less breath you have in there. 48 hours. No food, no water. So what happens if you get a cramp? We talked about this yesterday.
He still has to pee, though, too, right?
Maybe there's a catheter. Yeah. That's even worse because then it's in the coffin with you.
No water. I mean, you're eventually...
Most of the time, if you have a catheter,
you're eventually not going to pee, but, like, you're going to pee.
48 hours, negotiations are starting at $1 million post-tax, and then we can talk.
Yeah. I think that, and I still don't think I could do that for $1 million. Because
especially $1 million you're going to give to somebody else?
My biggest concern would be if somebody said, okay, you can make $1 million, we're going to give you Valium, you can smoke a doobie, you can do whatever you want to cool down, calm down. I still don't think that would be nearly enough. If I struggle getting inside of an MRI machine, other than the one at Ideal MRI, because I didn't. It was fantastic. For some reason that day, the way they made me feel, it was great. But if I struggle with an MRI machine...
Well, smoking a doobie in a casket would be the hot box of all hot boxes, that's for sure.
No, I'm talking about before I go into the coffin.
Yeah.
I would be chewing on gummies all damn day long.
If you did inside, he comes out of the thing and like, so hey. what was it like? Oh, I thought about giraffes for the whole time.
Scotty B tells us A&M beat Baylor 4-2 in the dual match.
All right.
There's one more match to go.
I have the video.
All right, you got the video.
Yeah, this won't take long, Paul. I know we got the fun.
On the tee.
Right. He's, I think, 1 under for the day or even.
1 over par for the day.
Like a 140-yard shot.
Uh-oh. Trying to play a little cut there. Wow. Came up short. Been on, find the penalty area short.
It's the wrong guy, isn't it?
Shot. This is his third. This happened a moment ago.
Went over.
Not even close.
So now he's hitting 5.
He's hitting 5, yeah.
He's hitting 5. Oh, that was chunky. Oh, he kind of sculled that a little bit.
Gosh.
Now he's hitting 7.
Yeah, he didn't have any spin on it.
Yeah, now this is his fifth.
That's short. That's got to come up short.
Get up. This also happened.
Oh, no.
Is it going to hang on? No.
Oh, now he's hitting from the tee box 9.
His 7th.
Oh, they say 7. I think it would be 9.
I thought it was 9.
Okay, safe play there.
Oh, my goodness.
Speaking of 10 miles an hour, this is a putt for a 10. Somehow in the middle of all that, I've lost track of one.
And this is not a gimme from 5
He
feet. Those greens are slick. Okay, he made the putt. Yeah. Yeah, he made the putt. All right, Paul's 5 at 5:55.
This is Paul Catalina's Top 5 at 5:55.
All right, free agency is upon us in the NFL, and this brought me to, every year in free agency you see teams and bad teams just signing people willy-nilly, and then it makes me think about like the bad sports franchises. So I want to go through the worst run sports franchises.
Oh, God,
worst
I know one of them.
You know one of them. Number 5.
Wait a minute, now or all time?
Currently now.
Okay.
All right. But right now, the Minnesota Timberwolves, what have they ever done?
I don't even know.
Exactly. Kevin Garnett was there for a while.
Yeah, they had Garnett.
But, he even had to go somewhere else to win. So, other than Kevin Garnett, what have the Timberwolves ever done?
I don't know.
All right, number 4, the Baltimore Orioles. In the post-Cal Ripken era, what have they ever done? You're going to see a theme here.
Yeah, no, they
had Cal Ripken's Iron Man celebration. That was about the highlight of the Orioles for the last 30 years.
Yeah, exactly. All right, number 3, the Houston Texans. And this is
3 years ago, Minnesota made the playoffs.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow, big.
Yeah.
And in the NBA, we know that nobody does, like half the league.
But number 3, the Houston Texans. Now, this is not just now. Sometimes I hear Texans fans talking about, like, this is a well-run franchise. They've never done anything. They've done nothing. They've won a couple of playoff games.
Okay.
They've done nothing.
So is a team in Arlington.
Yeah, but they actually have some history to them. But
the Texans,
I would say the Texans, up until like a few months ago, you could say that they were a pretty well-run franchise, but the last year is completely fallen apart. It's completely fallen apart. I don't know, it goes into the argument of like, would you prefer making the playoffs every year and just being a really good team every year but not winning anything, or would you rather have like the great run for a year or two and then be bad? And the Texans are a prime example of just being pretty good every single year but not being really good any year. And I don't know, as a fan, that would probably get a little annoying after a while, not winning anything really of substance outside of the division. But yeah, they're a total disaster now. It's just completely flipped.
They've won 6 division championships in the last 10 years.
Yeah, they're so just. I guess maybe they're just so average to me.
No, I think what Craig said. I think the last year they have become an absolute, just a joke.
Yeah.
Some of the decisions, some of them ego-driven, some of the things they've done.
You went from having a young quarterback who sells jerseys, is well-liked. You had probably the most popular defensive player in the entire league in the midst of his prime. You had one of the best young wide receivers in the entire NFL, and you've lost all three
of them in a matter of 12 months or so. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Number 2, and this is this year notwithstanding, I do think that the lawsuits pending for their owner has distracted him from running the team into the ground and let Ron Rivera run a little bit. But the Washington football team, I mean, Dan Snyder, and I do think that this is the team that Jeff Bezos has his eye on if he wants to get into this.
I think people just don't like Daniel Snyder. I think there's a little bit of that.
He's terrible at his job.
No, he is. He is. I'm not arguing that they're a poorly run franchise. I do think that you're right. Perhaps he's been distracted. Perhaps Ron Rivera's caught his attention. You know, it's considering they had Jack Kent Cooke, who was amazing with the Lakers and the Redskins and won world titles. Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah. Number 1, the New York Knicks. And I know this year they've played better under Tom Thibodeau, and you know they got Obi Toppin, and there's some excitement, but
sounded like a composer.
But bottom line is, look, their owner is he cares about his cover band, his rock and roll band more, and this will always be to me the worst run sports franchise because you have a passionate fan base in a city that loves basketball, that wants you to do well, and you cannot make it right for them.
Okay, in the last 5 – go ahead, Craig.
I saw today where Patrick Ewing was complaining because apparently he keeps getting stopped by security at Madison Square Garden. So their own security doesn't even know who like one of the greatest players in the history of that arena is. That tells you that
his picture is all over it. We've been there. His picture is all over it.
His face is very unique. He's 7 feet something tall. That's hard to screw that up.
There's pictures of him in his uniform every 100 yards that you take a step at MSG.
In the last 5 years, and I know you say they're playing better this year, they have had no more than 31 wins in a year.
Yeah, they suck and somehow probably won the Porzingis trade. But I do have a couple of notes.
Yeah, go ahead, Craig.
The Baylor Green and Gold game, April 24th at 12 p.m. That's just been announced by Baylor. So Green and Gold game, April 24th, McLean Stadium. And I mentioned that Kansas note. Emmett Jones has been promoted to interim head coach at Kansas, replacing Les Miles. He's got I mostly know him from like Texas Tech and all that, but he's been around a while. He's well respected. So Emmett Jones is going to be the interim head coach at KU.
All right. Thank you, Craig. Appreciate you, Armstrong, Paul Catalina. Thanks to Derek Johnson. Love what he's doing. Tomorrow at 12 at Bush's at New Road. Don't drive by there because it's going to be packed unless you're trying to get good food. Also, thanks to Jared Butler, David K. Man, that was awesome. Jason King, Paul Mills, Gary Franklin. Tomorrow we have a mixture of a lot of different guests, including Baylor, men's and women's basketball coverage, Jason King. Also, we'll have Eric Villasenor. He's at Wynn High School in Eagle Pass. Dave Aranda did a virtual clinic for the Texas Hispanic High School Coaches Association. He's going to join us for that, along with Katie Stager-Smith on Baylor volleyball and much more for Paul Catalina. Armstrong, Craig, thank you very much. I'm David Smoak. Baylor tomorrow will play Oklahoma State. They win today. This is SicEm365 Radio.
It takes time to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than sports. It goes for your financial goals as well. You work hard for your money, and you deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. And Tom Albers, your Edward Jones financial advisor, can help. If your financial investments aren't putting forth the effort you desire, stop by today for a financial review. Tom Albers, 4301 Lakeshore Drive, 254-776-7605. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Did you know that 1 out of every 4 men have symptomatic low levels of testosterone and don't even know it? And if you think you're too young to worry about it, guess again. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, cause weight gain, and wreak havoc on your sexual desire and performance. Petty Clinic Low T can set up same-day blood screening and results, so if you're tired of being tired, I challenge you to man up and Google search Low T Waco or go online, pettycliniclowt.com. It's a private clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Affordable, only $150 a month, includes lab work, office consultation, testosterone injections, follow-up visits compared to $395 a month in Dallas or Austin, and you don't have to fight the traffic. Petty Clinic Low T is board-certified physician consultations, will provide the best form of brand-strength testosterone available. Contact Petty Clinic Low T today, just off Highway 84 and Old Hewitt Drive in Woodway. Petty Clinic Low T, helping men become the high-performance men they deserve to be. PettyClinicLowT.com or Google search Low T Waco.
Ideal MRI is a small family business right here in Central Texas. We're open to support you while lowering the cost of healthcare bills. When you need an MRI, ask your doctor for an Ideal MRI. Visit us at idealmri.com or call us at 833-IDEAL-MRI.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has been proudly serving Texans across the state for over 60 years. Call 254-772-8090 to find an agent who will provide a free review of your auto, home, and life coverage.
March marks 22 years for Richard Carr Motors. Celebrate with big savings going on now during the anniversary sale event.